My daily life in a TV series. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 576, Falling Out with Old Friends at the Bar. But I didn't know. Heather's face turned red with anger. Okay. Ted also knew that he shouldn't say this in front of Adam and everyone else. The younger sister also wanted to save face, so he apologized. My fault. That was in the past. Now you and Barney have taught me a lesson, proving that you are mature enough. Didn't I sign you as a co-signer? Is this related to Barney? Adam's expression was a little strange. If it were him, let alone letting the second sister Teddy contact Barney. Once Barney dared to walk into the second sister Teddy's sight, he would not say anything. Beat Barney up first, and put Barney in the hospital first. It's not what you think, Ted hurriedly explained. At the beginning, I also guarded against Barney. Every time Heather came over, I didn't tell him, just because I was afraid that he would do something to Heather. When he said this, his expression was a little disgusted, but it was thinking of every time his family sent him a Christmas card. Barney would stand behind him and sing to the photo of Heather on the card. Take off her pants, pull off my pants. Under the witness of mistletoe, let her have a blast. Hot Heather, I will provide a one-stop service. There are also a series of self-composed and self-sung songs. What about I want to see her in her birth state, kneeling and waiting for me to come. Ted has a little sister who is becoming more and more sexy. I want to meet her, and then. Ted rolled his eyes every time, and when he couldn't stand it, he elbowed Barney, and his refusal was really limited. You should believe me. Barney, who had been silent all the time, said, I'm just talking, but if I promise you, I will never do it. Haha. Adam couldn't help laughing when he heard this. What are you laughing at? Barney said dissatisfiedly. Those who know will know. Adam glanced at him. This place is too rubbish. It's not as good as the McAllen bar. Barney paused and began to complain. That's because everyone here knows you. Adam said the key. Barney was admitted to the hospital as Adam's friend, and was infected with the aphrodisiac, and he had long been famous in the medical center. Most of the people in the old friends bar are doctors and nurses from the medical center. Even if there are one or two newcomers who don't know him, as long as a friend whispers to them that Barney has been poisoned, they will naturally stay as far away as possible. Again, there are safety measures, so it's not a big deal, but it's disgusting to hear, and there are certain risks after all. Barney is not so handsome that people don't care about any risks. Here, naturally, he was repeatedly defeated and didn't want to stay any longer. Barney and Heather really taught me a lesson, Ted said to smooth things over. I should have believed them. Oh, what happened? Adam laughed. This is what happened. Ted just opened his mouth, and Lily blurted out the whole story in one breath, took a deep breath, and then picked up the beer handed over by Matthew and drank it in big gulps. It turned out that Ted wanted to hide Heather's visit from Barney at first, but unfortunately he told the big-mouthed Lily. So, Barney blocked Heather in the apartment directly and met Heather. When they had dinner together in the evening, Heather talked about developing in the financial industry in New York. Barney directly took out his business card as an executive of Giant Bank. Ted tried his best to stop him at first because he knew what kind of person Barney was, but Heather insisted he could only send Lily to watch them. But who knew that when Lily went over for a surprise inspection, she found two people in Barney's office who were in disarray and had hurriedly put on their clothes. When Ted found out, he was naturally furious and scolded Heather severely. However, this was a play jointly done by Barney and Heather. They knew Lily would come, and they also knew that Lily was a big mouth, so they wanted to use this opportunity to teach Ted a lesson. Adam couldn't help laughing after hearing the whole story. It seems that Barney still has some bottom line, otherwise it would be too much considering that he hasn't completely recovered from the aphrodisiac poison. What? Heather was shocked. Barney has aphrodisiac poison? You don't know? Adam said in surprise. He had it before, and it hasn't been 6 months yet, so it's not certain whether it has been completely cured, but it doesn't matter. You didn't do it. You have aphrodisiac poison? Exclamation mark. Heather stood up suddenly and yelled at Barney. "Relax," Adam comforted. "Generally, there will be no transmission problems with contact. Didn't you see that we are sitting with him?" Heather's face turned pale and glared at Barney fiercely. Barney winked at her repeatedly. "Heather, what's going on?" If Dad still couldn't see that there was a problem, he would be a fool. Oh, Lily also understood what happened at the first time. Barney Stinson. Dad gnashed his teeth and looked at Barney. "You lied to me." Okay. Barney broke the jar and said, "We didn't lie to you, but the story is not over yet." What Lily saw was what we pretended. At that time, we really didn't do anything, just to teach you a lesson. What happened after Lily left doesn't count, so it doesn't count as lying to you. What happened afterwards doesn't count. Dad was really angry. "You've gone too far." "Yes, Barney, you've gone too far." Lily and Matthew also followed suit. I said, "How could I be wrong? Those who understand will understand." Adam sighed. In front of beauty, what principles does Barney have? Last time, he swore to Matthew that he would not joke about Matthew's future, trusting that he would not extend his evil hand to his sister. Isn't it like believing that cats don't eat fish and dogs don't eat meat? You're right. Robin looked at Barney with fear and disgust. Fortunately, she didn't let Barney contact Katie the last time her younger sister came. Otherwise who knows what would have happened. "Heather, don't worry." After Dad glared and scolded Barney, it was over. He looked at Heather with concern, saying, "It may not be a problem." Then he looked at Adam for help. "Adam, come with me." Adam shook his head and stood up. "Let's go to the hospital for a checkup first." Yes. Dad also stood up and went forward to support Heather, who was a little weak. Lily and the others stood up, including Barney. "Don't follow me. Stay away from my sister." Dad scolded. "Barney, you really crossed the line this time," Matthew said with a serious face. "This is Dad's biological sister." "Yes." Lily also glared at Barney. "Don't you really have no bottom line at all?" Robin was too lazy to talk to him. Everyone surrounded Heather and went to the medical center next door to draw blood for testing. With Adam's face, the results came out quickly. "Adam, how is it?" Dad looked eagerly. "Negative," Adam said after taking a look at the report. "Thank God," Ted shouted. "Woo woo woo." Heather was so sad and happy that she couldn't control her emotions and burst into tears. "You know how to cry now. What did you do before?" Dad said angrily. "Can this be blamed entirely on her?" Adam reminded. "Aren't you right? I warned her a long time ago." Dad said unconvinced. "What about Barney?" Adam sneered. "If you had been firm at the beginning and didn't give Barney the opportunity to break the bottom line step by step, would this have happened?" "Speaking of which, even Matthew and Lily are wrong." "Right," Matthew said in a deep voice. "We should all stick to our principles and shouldn't let Barney break the bottom line step by step. I am also responsible for what happened today. I should have turned against Barney last time I taught him." "Who would have thought that Barney really has no bottom line at all?" Lily murmured. "I was wrong too." "If we all insist, he will either accept this most basic rule of conduct or get out of our world." Adam sighed. After this incident, no matter what you think, as long as Barney doesn't give birth to a daughter and doesn't truly change his unscrupulous behavior from the bottom of his heart, I don't plan to see him again. Please pay attention to this when you get together in the future. Everyone. Chapter 577. Liang Jingjing and Dan Dao Dao. January 1, 1999, on the first day of the new year, this happened. Adam's disguised breakup with Barney cast a layer of gray in everyone's heart. They were also angry with Barney, but it was still not to that extent. Therefore, they were still surprised by Adam's decision. And what was the premise that Barney had to wait for a daughter? Adam didn't really think that Barney, who had a daughter, would become a daughter slave, and would be afraid for his daughter to meet a man like him, and would change his mind from then on. It seems to make sense. But Barney didn't even want to fall in love, let alone get married and have children. It seems that I really have to be careful about the gatherings in the future. Adam can't bring Barney. Adam didn't say anything more. The love for Barney in the TV series in the previous life disappeared after experiencing a series of events in person. Imagine a friend in your ear, constantly using all kinds of extremely obscene words, repeatedly saying in public what he wants to do to your sister, and even compose a song to sing. Even your mother is added. That's right, Barney claimed to be with Ted's mother, Mrs. Mosby, had a period of time in the car at the airport. Any normal person would hit him with a punch, without violent meals. It was completely bloody. Mature, I scolded Barney again, and then there was no more. I had to say, Adams comforted, the current precipitation is to play the foundation for the future. I believe you can become the best reporter. Really? Robin couldn't help laughing. Of course. Adam smiled and said, your first reaction is to report the news, not how the bomb was made. It's so cool. I really want to make one myself and then I'll know. Robin heard the teasing in Adam's words and said dissatisfiedly, I like weapons, but not to the extent you said. Really? Adam was surprised and said, I wanted to tell you more, because I saw it myself. And later I heard them talk about the various characteristics of this rocket and how this person made it. How did he make the M9A1 anti-tank rocket? Robin blurted out. Adam smiled but said nothing. Robin immediately knew that he had been fooled. You enthusiasts. Adam shook his head. What's wrong? Robin said nonchalantly, this time it was an accident. We just like it. We don't need to use it to kill people. He's dead. Adam reminded slowly. His wife was almost scared to death. He left behind 3 children. He was testing the gun in the backyard. If it wasn't a dud, it would have exploded directly. Or if it had exploded directly when it was made in the garage at home, would his children and wife have survived? There should be boundaries between what can be played and what can't be played. Things that are too dangerous are not suitable as hobbies and toys, no matter how much you like them. Robin was speechless, but looking at her expression, she still didn't care. Adam's gun-crazy personality is obviously not something that can be changed by a few words from Adam. Fortunately, Adam just mentioned it casually and didn't plan to change Robin. If he really wanted to change Robin, as long as he was full of energy, he had enough confidence to make Robin change. Actions are always more powerful than words. Where are we going? Robin discovered the problem at this time. He first looked out the window and then looked at Adam. Isn't this the way to your apartment? Not going to my apartment tonight. Adam smiled mysteriously. Where are we going? Robin asked in surprise. It's so cold. Let me make it clear first. I'm not as cold resistant as you. That time in the fall, it took a long time and I caught a cold afterwards. Now forget it. I still have to go to work later. What are you thinking? Adam said playfully. It's not what you think. I just want to go shopping with you and buy you something. Really? Robin couldn't believe it. Before, she and Adam were either fighting or on the way to fight. What does Adam mean by doing this now? Is he trying to get closer? Adam, this. Robin hesitated. No, it's true. Seeing Robin like this, Adam was afraid that something would happen if he continued to tease her, so he quickly pointed out the key point. I want to take you to the mall to buy things. Mall? Robin looked at Adam with a start. Yes, it's the mall. Let's go shopping together at the mall. Today. Adam winked. No. Robin finally reacted and was unwilling to accept this fact. Oh, yes. Adam nodded to confirm Robin's guess, and then turned on the car TV. Please, Mr. Johnson, I know it's my fault. Don't put me in solitary confinement, okay? Do you want me to do something to make up for it on the car TV? Young Robin appeared, wearing a white shirt and plaid skirt, begging the male teacher in the classroom, raising her eyebrows and biting her lips to show that she is willing to make up for it. Many action romance movies starred like this. Oh, no. Robin had already reached out to turn it off, but was blocked by Adam with one hand. Do you think it makes sense to turn it off now? Adam smiled and said, Robin sparkling, is it Katie? Robin had no choice but to let the car TV play her MV. I see. How about I sing a song for you? The plot suddenly turned, which was surprising. It was not an action romance movie, but a song MV. Let's go to the mall together. Today. Robin danced and sang, showing her enchantment. This is a MV specially shot to encourage people to go shopping in the mall. The name is Let's Go to the Mall Together. It is the first and famous song of Robin, who was an idol singer when he was young. I want to kill Katie. Although Adam didn't say it, he just smiled and watched the video. But Robin had already got his answer and said madly, except for Katie who came over for Christmas. No one else would show Adam these outdated MVs in Canada. Isn't this good? Adam smiled and said, Robin Jing 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 is so cute. I have already reserved the original silicone bracelet and graffiti jacket for you. I can be your robot friend and accompany you to rocket straight into space, dance and sing in the starry sky. Robin had a dark face and didn't say anything. Why, are you unhappy? Adam apologized. My fault, as he said. He reached out and pressed the car TV, just when Robin's face eased a little, thinking that Adam was still a person, and took the initiative to turn off the TV that made her ashamed. The result almost made her crazy. Since I'm not happy today, Robin Glitter, who pretends to be sunny, is not suitable. Let's change the style. Adam pressed the next song. On the car TV screen, a scene of Robin going on stage to greet people at a concert appeared. No, this time, Robin shouted in disbelief again. Oh, yes. Adam nodded and smiled. Compared to Robin Glitter, I prefer. The car TV was playing Robin Glitter saying, Hello everyone, I am Robin Glitter. In fact, I should say that I used to be Robin Glitter, because Robin Glitter is dead. My new name is. At this point, Robin turned around, took off his wig and graffiti jacket, revealing a metal punk outfit. His style changed from sunny and sweet to gloomy and mysterious. Robin stab. You, so beautiful, the law can't stop me from loving you. I will follow you closely, and the band can't scare me. On the car TV, Robin, who had transformed into Robin Glitter, was singing wantonly. Well, I also prepared this outfit for you. Adam smiled and said, this song PS I love you is better than let's go to the mall together, right? Although I don't want to say it, but you are unhappy, and I am really happy. Robin, peace. Thank you for Shadow's dreamy reward. Tomorrow is 2021. I would like to wish everyone a happy new year in advance. Chapter 578 Officer, please arrest me. 1999, the first day of the new year. Everyone was happy. Adam was happy. Although Robin was unhappy at first, she was also happy in the end. Shame, like moral integrity, is gone once it is gone. So when a colleague from the TV station called to remind Robin to go over and put on makeup for the show, Robin didn't want to go at first. The land of gentleness is the grave of heroines. Although Adam liked the song PS I Love You more, but when Robin sang enough of this song, her mood became sunny and cheerful again, and she returned to the beginning of her fame. After Robin Sparkling was resurrected, Adam did not reject Robin Sparkling. This gave Robin an unprecedented feeling. Looking at the special effects robot accompanying Robin Sparkling in the MV in the car TV, and then looking at Adam beside her, Robin was in a trance. Could it be that this MV director is a prophet who can see into the future? My girlish heart. Robin cursed in her heart, just as Doctor Strange's soul was blasted out by Ancient One. Her soul also passed through her body and floated in the air. Before she understood what happened, she was already in the MV when she blinked. At this time, she was making a gesture of opening her arms. She remembered that she only made this gesture during the original filming. The rocket special effects behind her took her to space, which was added later. At that time, she was just a young idol singer with no acting experience at all. When the director asked her to make a gesture of opening her arms and flying, she couldn't substitute any emotions. Finally, under the director's repeated instructions, she exaggeratedly put on an expression of infinite surprise. But now, she suddenly realized, when humans can get rid of gravity and fly into the sky, how happy it is. So, she naturally showed an expression of infinite joy. At this moment, although she herself can't see her own performance, but she knows that the Oscar's over a queen. Is this a superpower? Soul singer plus soul actor? Thinking of this, Robin couldn't help but feel a little dazed, just feeling that the soul is in hand, entertainment is mine. At this time, a colleague from the TV station called her to be the host of the night garbage time, as if gravity had started to work again, dragging her floating in space and falling down. Therefore, she was very disgusted in her heart. Fortunately, the last bit of rationality was still there. Seeing that she was about to fall to her death from the clouds, she woke up immediately and returned to reality. She listened to the urging reminder from the other end of the phone, quickly agreed, and hung up the phone. "Damn it," Robin cursed angrily. "You almost killed me." "Not really," Adam laughed. "I'm in a hurry. Take me to the TV station quickly." Robin turned the rearview mirror and began to tidy up in front of the mirror, telling her about her soul falling from space and waking up with fear when she was about to fall face down on the ground. "This is normal," Adam comforted. "Many people have this kind of dream experience, maybe because of a bad mood and some depression, or physical discomfort, excessive fatigue. I often had this kind of dream when I was a child." "Do you often have this kind of dream?" Robin stopped what she was doing and looked over in surprise. As soon as Adam said it, she believed it, because whether it was a bad mood, depression, physical discomfort, or excessive fatigue, she just met all the requirements. But Adam also had this kind of dream, and it was frequent, which made her curious. "Yeah." Adam turned the key and started the car successfully. He stepped on the accelerator and the car slowly drove out of the underground parking lot of the mall and drove towards the TV station. "When I grew up and studied medicine, I looked it up and found that this was a subconscious symptom of psychological anxiety or physical warning. It is very common. It doesn't matter as long as you don't fall to the ground in your dream." This is of course not in this life, but Adam's experience in his previous life. In his previous life, Adam often had this kind of dream when he was a child. For example, in an empty field, Adam ran desperately, and then a plane flew low. Adam reached out and grabbed the base of the plane. He was taken into the sky by the plane. When he crossed a dark cliff, his hands could no longer support him. As soon as he let go, he fell towards the dark cliff. He kept falling. Just as Adam approached the parallel line between the cliff and the ground, Adam screamed in fear, and then his legs went numb and he woke up. After waking up, he found that his legs were really numb. He had to relax for a while before he recovered. Adam was not psychologically anxious when he was a child, but just a physical warning. In this life, I studied medicine and found that this phenomenon is very common, but when I came to the United States, it was interesting that there were fewer physical warnings, and more psychological subconscious anxiety. The paradise of depression and drug use is no joke. Someone even made a movie for this. The male protagonist Reverse Flash, who played the role of Reverse Flash in The Flash, got into trouble and lay in bed in pain. Then in his dreams, he kept encountering various troubles, such as an unexpected medical accident in a simple operation, his wife cheating on a handsome doctor, and himself being bullied by the lower class. In fact, they were all things that he usually subconsciously worried about and imagined by his brain. Of course, there were also beautiful nurses who took the initiative to ask him for sex. He finally woke up once, and after learning the truth, he returned to his dream again, jumped off the building and died, ending the world in his dream. In reality, he also died. Of course, this is a movie. What if you fall to the ground in a dream? Robin was shocked. That's troublesome. Adam shook his head and said, whether it's psychological anxiety or physical warnings when falling from a high altitude in a dream, it's the brain that's giving warnings. Falling from a high altitude in a dream and waking up automatically before landing is also the brain's self-protection. You should know that the brain nerves will process information transmitted from various parts of the body. Once there is no such self-protection of the brain, falling to death in a dream, it is very likely that the brain has recognized this news. You should have heard of the prisoner experiment. Blindfold the death row prisoner, cut the prisoner's wrist with the back of a knife, and then make a dripping sound. He was scared to death. Robin said in shock, "Are you saying that falling from a high altitude in a dream will really kill you?" "The death row prisoner is not dead." Adam smiled and said, "He was just scared to death. But various detection instruments show that the death row prisoner is extremely frightened, and a series of data from the body show that the death row prisoner is in a state of blood loss. Although this prisoner was not scared to death, but it does not mean that others will not die. It is not uncommon for timid people to be scared to death. So people who fall to death in a dream may not necessarily die, but they may die because the brain reacts to the dream." OMG. Robin was stunned for a long time, until Adam drove to the TV station and pushed her. She came back to her senses, exclaimed, punched Adam hard in the chest, and shouted, "You almost killed me just now." Adam grinned. not knowing what to say. Go quickly, otherwise you will miss the recording. Adam, who didn't know whether to laugh or cry, could only remind him. You are a suspect of attempted murder. Robin glared at Adam hatefully, grabbed the coat from the back row, walked out, put on the coat, and walked quickly to the TV station. Although she was almost killed, no one would believe it if she told others. Others might think she was Versailles and envy and hate her. Therefore, she could only let it go reluctantly, return to reality, and keep her job first. Adam raised his hand to check the time. It was only 10 o'clock in the evening. After thinking for a while, he took out his mobile phone and dialed a number. Officer, I was just accused of murder. Please come and arrest me. Chapter 579. Kate, I beg you. Late at night, Adam's apartment. Night, a heroic female police officer, holding a gun in both hands, walked in with a loud shout. Don't move. A figure quietly appeared behind her, with the muzzle of the gun against her back. Oh no, I've been fooled. The female police officer secretly said that it was not good. Boom. There were lightning and thunder outside the house, and the wind and rain were violent, as if it was a classic background music, foreshadowing the misfortune of the female police officer. No one shouted cut, because the director was busy. Fortunately, they were all professionals, and the most difficult long shot in filming was easily used at this moment, with one shot to the end, and there was no need for post-editing. The person who came was the female police Kate Beckett. She received Adam's surrender and called the police, and hurried over, but she didn't expect to fall into such an extremely dangerous situation. I don't know how long it took. I beg you. No mercy. Facing Kate's plea for mercy, Adam was as cold as Arya. Who told you to tell me about me behind my back? I really didn't say anything. Kate couldn't act anymore and smiled. I'm just telling the truth. Do you dare to deny it? Don't tell me you called the police for no reason. Did Jesse scold me wrongly? Adam was speechless. Kate's nose was so sharp that she could tell a woman by her scent. Even though she hadn't met any of Adam's other good friends, she had already assigned numbers to Robin and the others with her nose, even if she took a shower. How did you become good friends with this agent Peggy? Adam had acted out the story, and he no longer bothered about Kate's story behind his back, and quickly changed the subject. We are both in law enforcement in New York, and we are both women. Isn't it normal to know each other? Kate stretched lazily, smiling. Are you interested in Jessie? I'm just curious. Adam smiled. After all, she is the first FBI to come to my door. As a good citizen, let alone seeing the legendary FBI, even seeing you police officers, I am so scared that I can't sleep at night unless I figure it out. Oh, I think you are being sarcastic. Kate pouted and said, are you afraid of us? Of course I am. Adam said seriously, you have the discretionary power, and even the power to manage traffic. You can just lie there and wait for us to drive by, and then follow us directly, and then say we are speeding and force us to stop. The rest is even more terrifying. We must do exactly what you say, even if some actions are very insulting, but we must strictly abide by them. Otherwise you will shoot us directly on the grounds of feeling threatened. Even if we strictly abide by them, as long as you have a mysterious feeling and say you still feel threatened, you can still shoot us. This is you. The FBI is even scarier. They don't even need to catch us in the act or force us to stop by car. Instead, they can just knock on the door. How can we not be afraid? Kate's mouth twitched, feeling seriously offended. But she had nothing to say, because what Adam said was true. There are really many such things every year, but we can't stop the police from doing this just because of a few scumbags, right? You have to know that the United States is free to carry guns. Without this discretion, it is easy for someone to take out a gun from nowhere and kill them directly. This is also the bloody lesson learned by many kind police officers after they were killed. It's just that the forest is big, and there are all kinds of people. Some people take revenge on personal grudges and target anyone they are unhappy with. As a truly upright police officer, she also hates these scumbags among the police officers. It's not as exaggerated as you say. Police officers who break the law without reason must be held accountable. But the premise is that I'm still here. Adam complained. If I'm not here, What's the use of someone helping me hold them accountable? And God knows if my stupid third brother Gabby will directly forgive the other party on my behalf. What's more, prosecution may not be useful. Either they will be given paid leave, or sentenced after more than 10 years, or they will be sentenced and the sentence will be reduced through various art of bargaining. The most ridiculous thing is that after more than 10 years of litigation, they are finally brought to justice, but they have not yet gone to prison and are directly pardoned. You are the #1 sister of the NIPD. Tell me, is this true? Should I be afraid? You're a celebrity, you don't have to be afraid. Kate smiled bitterly. Okay, I know what you mean. Hey, Adam sneered. Stop it, Kate complained. It's all the root of the trouble caused by you super rich people. That's true. Adam smiled and said, let's not talk about this heavy topic. Let's talk about your good friend Agent Page. What about her? Kate was not very interested. What do you want to know? I think she is not very old. She joined the FBI at such a young age? Adam asked curiously. Yeah, Kate nodded. Jessie was specially recruited by the FBI before she graduated from college. Specially recruited in college? Adam was surprised and said, does she have any special abilities? Or is it that the FBI has no people left, so it's so easy to get a job? 10 years later, Jessie Page worked in background checks and was an office clerk for organizations like the FBI. The real elites are all field workers. This is completely inconsistent with being specially recruited at such a young age. Confidential, Kate said lazily. Is it that serious? Adam pouted and said, everything is confidential? This is from your mouth and I have heard it, and no one else knows it. Tell me what's wrong? You don't think I am a spy, using the beauty trap to get secrets from you, right? Haha. Kate laughed when she heard it. Beauty trap. You are so shameless to say it. Okay, I can tell you. But you can't tell anyone, and you can't tell it in front of Jessie. Fuck you. Adam raised his hand. I don't know much. Kate smiled and said, I just heard that when Jessie was in college, she went out to travel and encountered a deformed cannibal. Almost all of her companions died. She calmly fought back and was valued by the FBI director who rushed over and specially recruited her. Of course, he probably wanted her to keep it secret. Many things are not suitable for full disclosure to the public, otherwise it will cause discomfort or even panic. Necessary control actually makes sense, but many times, necessity becomes complete, which is disgusting. Just like SHIELD, the banner it raised at the beginning was good, but it changed as it went on. But it is also true, the boss is a fucking idiot. How much morality and civilization can he have? Really? Adam was surprised. This plot is a bit like the heroine of a horror movie, but when he thought of Jessie Page's appearance, Adam was relieved. As we all know, the heroine of a horror movie must have a good figure and good looks, which is the first magic weapon for horror movies to attract people. If you are not beautiful and have a bad figure, who will care about your life or death? Yeah, Kate nodded. Jessie often said a sentence, which was also borrowed from her companion who died there. The economically depressed areas in the United States are the breeding grounds for evil. This kind of thing happens all over the United States, otherwise the FBI would not come to take over and handle it uniformly. The judicial power in the United States is very complicated. State police, city police, and county police often ignore the FBI, because the FBI can't control them. Once a big case occurs, the FBI likes to come and grab the initiative and credit, and the local police will resist, and the two sides will play a game. As long as the case crosses states, it belongs to the FBI. In cases involving deformed cannibals, the locals know the legend and most of them will not commit suicide. Usually, they are tourists from other states who like to seek excitement and will die if they commit suicide. If there are more victims from other states, this will fall under the jurisdiction of the FBI. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 580 Bad Seed. The first day of the new year in 1999, singing with Robin, gossiping with Kate, Adam had a wonderful day. The next day, January 2nd, Medical Center. Emergency. Dr. Duncan, The nurse began to call. "What's the situation?" Adam walked over quickly and greeted the emergency personnel. Catherine Horn, 36-year-old female, fell from the stairs. Blood pressure 70/50, pulse 45, possible cerebral hemorrhage, coma index 6, left lower limb hematoma, right upper body and left thigh lacerations, back contusion. The emergency personnel said quickly. "Can a fall from the stairs be so severe?" Adam sneered, while pushing the patient into the treatment room. While examining her, "It hurts, it hurts," the patient Catherine murmured unconsciously. The patient fell into a coma and respiratory arrest. The nurse reminded. 7.0 airway intubation. "Catherine, can you hear me?" 500 milliliters of saline. Adam called while giving first aid. "Put the airbag on. Increase the oxygen supply to dilute the carbon dioxide content. The head is swollen and the condition is worsening." "Undress. The abdomen is stiff. Perform irrigation first. Take a cord scan and a chest x-ray. Book an operating room. Call Dr. Shept." Adam performed the rescue in an orderly manner. "Have her family members come? Her 2 children are here with her." The nurse glanced at the man and woman who were looking in through the glass window outside the clinic. "They should be siblings, both of whom are still children. Take them to the family waiting area." Adam also saw them and instructed the nurse, "Then call her husband or parents." "Yes, doctor," a nurse responded and left. "Contact the Women's and Children's Rights Organization." Adam looked at the injuries on the patient's body, glanced at the medical records, and sneered. "She has been to the emergency room 3 times in the past 6 months. She fell from the steps and broke her arm. There was no scratch. She hit the door and fractured her eye socket. This time she fell from the stairs again. She is really good at falling." "Yes, doctor," the nurse nodded in agreement. The medical staff were all based on experience. How could they not tell which injuries were caused by falling and which were caused by being beaten? Not to mention that the patient was covered in injuries. 95% of this was domestic violence. According to regulations, Adam should report it, and Adam did so. After the cord and chest x-ray came out, as expected, this was no longer ordinary domestic violence. It was a murder. "We must have surgery immediately." Adam sent the patient directly to the operating room. Dr. Shept rushed to the operating room, and after looking at the cord and chest x-ray, he recognized Adam's diagnosis. After cleaning and disinfection, they performed the operation together. The patient had cerebral hemorrhage and intrathoracic hemorrhage. Adam was responsible for the intrathoracic hemorrhage, and Dr. Shept was responsible for the cerebral hemorrhage. The 2 of them went all out and barely saved the patient's life. After leaving the operating room, "How is it?" Adam asked the most understanding nurse. "That's right. The most understanding nurse was one of the operating nurses today. People from the Women and Children Protection Agency have arrived." The most understanding nurse had a strange expression, but the result of the inquiry was a little unexpected. "It's not domestic violence by the husband?" Adam looked at her in surprise. "No, the most understanding nurse, it was the patient's daughter Mandy who did it, and her brother David exposed it." Adam was startled, and almost thought he had heard it wrong. "You know, the patient's daughter is only in her teens, still a little girl." But thinking about what kind of world this is, Adam calmed down again. "Nothing is impossible. Take me over there to have a look," Adam said, and walked over with a most understanding nurse. Before he got close, when he saw Mandy for the first time, Adam immediately believed that she did it. Not to mention that her hands were injured from hitting people. The key is that her eyes were full of indifference and violence. "This is definitely a very dangerous little girl. Call them a psychiatrist," Adam instructed. "I've called them," the most understanding nurse said. "Come down right away." "Oh," Adam sighed and began to worry about the girl's brother David. David exposed this matter because he watched his mother being sent to the operating room with his own eyes, and heard the nurse say that she almost couldn't be saved. Out of fear of losing his mother, he suppressed his fear of his sister and took the initiative to expose it. The truth was out. But his sister Mandy obviously hated him too, and her eyes were full of murderous intent when she looked at him. This was not an exaggeration. She could beat her own mother repeatedly, and now even killed her. This girl named Mandy must have psychological problems. And the scary thing is that some people are born bad, and counseling by psychiatrists and psychologists is useless. David and Mandy's kinship made it difficult for him to avoid Mandy. Now he can only hope to judge Mandy as a serious mental disorder and admit her to a mental hospital. But this is not safe. Many mental patients are paranoid. Unless she is locked up for life, once she comes out, she will definitely seek revenge on David. What's more scary is that if this Mandy has a high IQ, even if she is locked up in a mental hospital now, she can quickly adapt and make a positive transformation gesture, get away with it, and come out soon. Dr. Duncan, David said that his sister Mandy hit his mother with his baseball bat. The most understanding little nurse saw Adam was a little absent-minded, and couldn't help but remind him. Yeah, Adam nodded, thinking whether to help or not. After thinking for a while, he decided to see the situation first. If the situation is really that bad, Adam will secretly help David's family leave here, disappear completely, and start a new life somewhere else. Let Mandy not find them. After all, these are several lives. Save them if you can, it's just a little cost. After making this decision, Adam turned and left. Since he decided to save people, what he has to do now is to keep a low profile. It's better not to show up in front of Mandy and reduce his presence. Although he is not afraid of her, but he doesn't want to provoke her. There is no need. Doctor, I've been waiting for 40 minutes. A man who looks very honest came over. What's wrong with you? Adam glanced at him, and saw the sirens sounding again at the door of the emergency room, and said, Sir, you go find the nurse first. There was nothing abnormal in appearance, and he had waited for so long, so it was probably no big problem. Oh, the man agreed and turned around and left. Wait, Adam called the other party in amazement, and he was not in a hurry to greet the ambulance. This guy obviously needs emergency treatment too, because there is an arrow stuck in the back of his head. How did you get this? Adam asked while checking. The kids next door were playing cowboys and Indians. I was unlucky and got shot by an Indian. The man was in a good mood and laughed at himself. Come with me. Adam took him to the clinic. This man was really brave. Even in this situation, he still waited for 40 minutes leisurely. P.S. I wish you all a Happy New Year. Chapter 581 God's Grace Medical Center. In the morning, after Adam dealt with the unlucky man who was shot in the back of the head, he walked out of the clinic. He walked around the emergency room and went to the surgery department. As soon as he came over, he saw a classic scene. He saw Meredith standing in front of the nurse's station, holding a medical record book in her hand, and being teased by a tall and handsome man. Anyone with a little experience can see that Meredith has a good impression of this man. Adam took a step closer and realized with his keen observation that this man is also a top predator. At this moment, a white figure took 2 steps at a time and punched the tall and handsome top predator in the cheek. If it wasn't Dr. Shept, who else could it be? This punch was so strong that after Dr. Shept hit him, he also shook his hand lightly and frowned in pain. What are you doing? Meredith angrily questioned Dr. Shept, her ex-boyfriend. At the beginning, she asked him to choose her or his wife. He chose his wife. After she suffered, she gradually let go. Now a handsome man took the initiative to chat with her, and he punched her. What does that mean? He is Mark. Dr. Shept said the name of the man who was beaten without saying much. Meredith looked at the beaten Mark in silence. Adam also heard it. He had heard Christina and others gossip about Dr. Shept's love history, so he naturally knew that this Mark was the hot man who made Dr. Shept carry the entire Hulunbuur grassland. TSK, another Dr. Shept, that is, the grassland itself, Dr. Montgomery, and the chief of surgery Richard who got the news, all rushed over. The chief of surgery Richard called the couple to his office. Meredith took the beaten Mark to treat the injury. Adam smiled and shook his head and left. If it were an ordinary doctor, if he dared to take action in the hospital, the risk of being fired would be very high. But if the one who beat people was the chief of neurosurgery, the famous Dr. Shept, it would be completely different. Adam saw Chief of Surgery Richard roaring in his office. Although he couldn't hear the sound, he was clearly saying from his lips, "My chief of neurosurgery hit someone in my surgery? Damn it, put the ice pack on your hand that makes $2 million a year." After reading this sentence, Adam knew that Dr. Shept would be fine, not to mention the friendship between Dr. Shept and Chief of Surgery Richard. The money Dr. Shept made for the hospital every year was enough for the Chief of Surgery to protect him. The net profit of $2 million in 1999 is not a small number. This is after deducting the share given to Dr. Shept and other expenses. The turnover is definitely more than $10 million. You can tell by doing the math. The last time Joe's immobilization surgery cost hundreds of thousands. Dr. Shept is a neurosurgeon, and the operations he performs are all complex and expensive. Even if not every operation costs hundreds of thousands, the average is 100,000. 10 million in turnover is just 100 operations. Even if he only performs one operation a day, he can easily do more than 200 operations a year, not to mention the fact that the hospital's overall ranking has risen due to the addition of Dr. Shept, which has led to the siphoning of patients. Noon, cafeteria. The director is still okay. George gossiped there. After learning that Mark was the mistress, he was still very angry and asked Dr. Shept directly if he had used all his strength in that punch. After getting a positive answer, he patted Dr. Shept on the shoulder, said nothing more, and left. "Isn't this normal?" Christina said leisurely. "Men's empathy and common hatred of the enemy are boring." "Only men have that?" George said indignantly. "You women are even more exaggerated. Even if they didn't cheat on your rival, as long as it's not you, other women are almost all bitches in your mouths." "That's true." Christina nodded in agreement. "Do you think Meredith will be attracted to Mark?" Liz gossiped. "I heard he's very handsome." "Who knows?" Adam interrupted. "Let's stop gossiping and talk about the operation." "Liz, I heard that Dr. Montgomery took over a very special case this morning." "Oh, yes." Liz became excited when she said this, and said in disbelief, "It is said that women can live without men." But I really didn't expect this sentence to be understood literally. Spontaneous chills and excitement. "Oh my God, I envy her to death." Puff. George almost spit out. Spontaneous chills and excitement. "Is there such a thing?" "Yeah." Liz looked at George and Adam playfully. "That is, without a man, or even without any auxiliary tools, you can have fun anytime, anywhere. If every woman has this ability, then what do men do? Without us men, how can you women get pregnant?" George said indignantly. "Is this what men do in your eyes?" Adam teased. "I feel so sorry for your ex-boyfriends and future husbands." "Don't bring it up," Liz pouted. "Soul needs are basic human needs. Let's just talk about this." "Don't tell me you don't know how low the percentage of men who can bring extreme happiness to women is." "Even with this percentage, there are still many women who deliberately pretend to be happy in order to maintain their relationship. We can almost say that men cannot bring enough happiness to women. To borrow a saying from the East, there are only cows that die of exhaustion, but no fields that are plowed to death. Not to mention more than 10 times a day, 365 days a year. Can you do it?" George blushed and was speechless, defeated. He couldn't. Liz smiled triumphantly, then looked at Adam. "Haha." Adam looked at her naturally, revealing a reserved smile. "No way." Liz was stunned. "Really?" Christina also looked over. "Okay, let's not talk about these unimportant things." Adam was afraid that the two of them would say something they wanted to verify, so he changed the subject and said, "Did Dr. Montgomery say how to treat it?" "It hasn't been decided yet." Liz shook her head. "Didn't Dr. Montgomery just be called away? I guess he will do surgery." "Alas, it's a very difficult choice. If it were me, I'm not sure I can make up my mind to give up this gift from God." "Yeah." Christina nodded with empathy. "Please." Adam shrugged and said, "You women all think so, which shows that there must be a very big hidden danger that forced her to choose to do this. This kind of spontaneity is not controlled at all, unless you stay at home and enjoy it every day. Do you want to show your happiness in public anytime and anywhere? At that time, it is not enjoyment, but torture." "Oh," Liz sighed, "that's the problem. It would be great if it could become a trigger type." "Do you know how the patient came here?" "She took a taxi and started to act out of control in the car. Then the driver, who didn't know what was going on, was stunned and had a car accident." Puff. George sprayed again. "OMG, this is life-threatening. No wonder she wants to give up this gift from God." "Yeah," Liz said helplessly, The key is that she is from a single-parent family with only her father. When she was sent to the hospital contacted her emergency contact, that is, her father. Then she covered her face with a pillow in front of her father and all of us. This is not the first time. It can be seen that she and her father are very embarrassed and distressed. Peace. Thank you Chunky Udaman for the reward. There is only one chapter at noon, and the subsequent chapters will be updated later depending on the situation. My nephew is here and he is too noisy. Please forgive me. Chapter 582 Gynecologist Adam Medical Center. Cafeteria. That's really embarrassing. Adam laughed, but the trigger type that Liz mentioned has also happened before. Really? No way? Christina and Liz shouted at the same time. Yeah, Adam nodded. This kind of persistent hyperarousal syndrome is not an isolated case. There is a case that started when the soles of the feet were touched. There is also a middle-aged British woman who has it. She is troubled and keeps changing boyfriends. Every boyfriend she dates is like a baseball pitcher who is beaten up and is constantly squeezed and replaced. It was not until she met a man who also had this disease that she felt a little relieved. The two people have to cancel each other out more than 10 times a day. OMG. Liz took a long breath. These two people are really lucky. I envy them so much. It's really unfair. I don't expect to have their abilities. It would be nice if I could have such a girlfriend. Why? George looked at Liz in shock. You don't understand? Liz glanced at Adam and the other two and said, this is like vomiting. If one person vomits a lot, the people around him will see it and there will be a chain reaction. Is this okay? George was dumbfounded. You only think about the benefits. Adam teased. Are you sure you want a best friend like this? Aren't you afraid that she will pull your boyfriend or husband over and use him directly one day? Liz paused, rolled her eyes at Adam, and stopped talking. If a best friend like this is a little bit more beautiful, any woman will feel insecure. There is no other reason. Because she can't believe in the self-control of such a best friend, and can't imagine that her boyfriend will not make the same mistakes that any man would make when facing a best friend in this state. After lunch, they went their separate ways. Adam went to Green Clinic. When he walked through the corridor, he ran into Dr. Montgomery, who was holding the wall and walking step by step, looking very painful. Dr. Shept, are you okay? Dr. Duncan. Dr. Montgomery looked over sideways, tried to stand up straight, and forced a smile. I'm fine. She was obviously not right now. Even if she forced herself to pose normally, her body was slightly twisted, and pain flashed in her eyes. Oh, Adam thought for a moment, knowing that it was probably about privacy, and nodded to her with a smile, and walked past her and prepared to leave. The other party was a famous doctor, and she had a strong control over her own condition. If there was really a problem that she couldn't solve, Adam believed that she would not refuse to tell him. Now that she didn't want Adam's help, it was obviously controllable. Wait a minute. Adam walked a few steps and was stopped by her. Dr. Shept. Adam, can you do me a favor? Dr. Montgomery was a little entangled, but keep it confidential. In this regard, she was the same as her husband. Duncan was fine, and Adam was in trouble. Adam hesitated. What favor? If I can do it, I will naturally help you, and keep it confidential. The benefits of making friends with Dr. Montgomery are beyond words. But the premise is that he can do it, otherwise, it will be counterproductive. I feel a little unwell and need someone to see me, Dr. Montgomery whispered, but it needs to be kept absolutely confidential. Adam, can you help me? Of course. Adam nodded. There is no problem with this. Seeing a doctor, you can gain experience and get favors. So why not do it? At Dr. Montgomery's signal, Adam stepped forward to support her, found a nearby ward, and walked in. In the ward, Dr. Montgomery sat there, posing the classic posture of gynecological examination. Professional. Adam muttered to himself, put on gloves with a natural expression, sat in front of her, and began to help her check and diagnose, or it can be said to be a consultation. In fact, Dr. Montgomery herself roughly knew what disease she had, but because of the inconvenient position, she could not diagnose and confirm it herself. Under normal circumstances, she should find a female doctor to help herself, but she is the first pediatric director who has just been appointed. For face-to-face confidentiality agreement? Don't be kidding. The doctor really wants to keep it secret. But as long as she is not a person, she can follow the process. A person knows, everyone in the hospital will know, her husband's hand was still injured. When he saw her, his expressionless face seemed to have returned to the state when she first came. He turned away from her before she could say anything. If Dr. Bailey was here, she could win Dr. Montgomery's respect and trust with her ability and character, and she would be a very good candidate. But unfortunately, Dr. Bailey was on maternity leave and was not in the hospital. As for Liz, although she was her person, there was still a little distance between the two. Moreover, in this relationship, she was a high-ranking mentor, and she was not willing to accept her students seeing her embarrassed side. As for Adam, his ability and character had already won everyone's respect. No one regarded him as an ordinary intern, and she was no exception. There was no burden of status. The only bad thing was that he was a man. But they were all doctors, and in this case, she could only trust Adam and her own professionalism. Dr. Shept, I'm sorry. Adam shook his head and said, you have a kudzu rash in a place where no one wants to be infected, and the blisters are growing rapidly and are very serious. Now this process is not cigarettes at all. In fact, if an average man, or someone with trypophobia, saw this, he probably wouldn't be able to bear to look at it. This is also the reason why few male doctors are willing to be gynecologists. It's too cruel. It seriously destroys men's aesthetics. Just like when Sheldon attended his sister Missy's birth, Amy immediately explained, women are not like that under normal circumstances. There was no way. Sheldon originally disliked physical contact between men and women. Amy had endured for so many years and barely changed Sheldon's view. Now suddenly encountering such a thing, looking at Sheldon who seemed unable to accept reality, how could Amy not be anxious? Shit. Dr. Montgomery lay back and closed his eyes in pain. Do you need me to get calamine lotion, gloves, and steroids? Adam asked. Please. Dr. Montgomery grabbed Adam's arm and begged, please keep it confidential. Don't write the medical record, and get the medicine secretly. Don't tell anyone. Don't worry. Adam nodded. With his connections, he easily got the necessary medicine. Just like an excellent chef will never starve to death in any era. In a hospital, as long as you are willing, you can easily get a lot of banned drugs. No matter how strict the rules and regulations are, they are still enforced by people, and people are all creatures of affection. P.S. My nephew is too noisy at home, so I will update twice today. Tomorrow he will go back and resume 3 updates a day. Please forgive me. Chapter 583. Hong Shixian calls him an expert. Medical center. In the ward, after Adam got the medicine, he secretly treated Dr. Montgomery. Ah, Dr. Montgomery wailed in pain. Dr. Shept, I think you'd better bear it. Adam smiled bitterly. Otherwise, I won't have to keep it secret soon. This ward is just an ordinary ward with average sound insulation, and it can't block Dr. Montgomery's screams at all. If it doesn't need to be kept secret, it's fine, but the key is to keep it secret. Once the doctors and nurses passing by hear it, who knows what will be spread. Anyway, Dr. Montgomery's husband, Dr. Shept, already has a psychological shadow, and this is the time when the psychological shadow is the greatest. Most likely he won't think positively. It's okay if he really cheated on Dr. Shept, but he didn't, just to help with the treatment for Dr. Montgomery's favor. Yes, Dr. Shept forgave Benny Ewan's wife, but Adam didn't want to bet that he could forgive Benny Ewan's others. He didn't want to take the blame. In his heart, the director of pediatrics and the director of neurosurgery are still incomparable. That would be too much of a loss. This is retribution. Dr. Montgomery, who covered his mouth and endured the discomfort for a while, finally couldn't help sobbing and crying. This is retribution for my cheating on Mark. He got kudzu rash there? Adam said casually while treating him. Kudzu rash, as the name suggests, the infected area looks like pieces of kudzu skin. Mark cheated on his best friend's wife, and he was obviously a playboy with no principles at all. It's not surprising that he got all kinds of messy diseases. But Dr. Montgomery has been here for a few months, and she has been reunited with her husband for more than a month. As soon as Mark came, he got kudzu rash. You know, Kudzu rash is not a chronic skin disease. It won't be dormant for a few months, and the symptoms will show immediately. Adam felt that he understood the truth, and he mourned for a few seconds for Dr. Shept, who was like the Hulk. The punch in the morning was really not in vain. Dr. Montgomery probably didn't go home last night, and Mark showed up in the hospital again this morning, which made Dr. Shept sense something. The new hatred and old hatreds combined, and then he exploded. That's right, the first time Dr. Shept accidentally discovered that his wife and her best friend were cheating on him in his bed, he didn't explode at all, but just watched calmly for a while, and then quietly closed the door. Zhu Wenchang from the Yin family called him an expert. It's a pity that Dr. Montgomery is not as coquettish as Zhang Chengcheng from the Yin family. She wouldn't call the young man little sweetie just now, and cry to her husband the next second. I made a mistake in passion. I didn't plan it for a long time. He took the initiative to talk to me. He took the initiative to seduce me. I really kept resisting. I resisted for a long time, but in the end I failed. I just made a mistake that all men in the world would make. But I'm a woman. If it doesn't work, you can find someone outside. You can't just think about yourself. Why can't you think about me? Okay. Although Dr. Montgomery is not as coquettish as Zhang Chengcheng in the Yin family, Dr. Shept is much coquettish than Zhu Wenchang in the Yin family. He did not give his cheating wife any chance to argue. After closing the door, he left directly and flew out of Boston to New York. Then that night, he was taken home by Meredith, who was 100% drunk and had her belt off, in the bar. The next morning, he shouted excitedly that Meredith had taken advantage of him. Dr. Montgomery did not need to say it himself. He had already compensated himself first. If it were not for the fact that God was confused and was shocked by Dr. Montgomery's words, even if I am Satan, even if I cheated on you, I may still be your soulmate and the love of your life, and then chose to forgive. Dr. Shept can still be compared with Hong Shixian and his ilk. It's a pity that he eventually fell onto Zhu Wenchang. No, just as Adam's thoughts were flying, Dr. Montgomery suppressed his discomfort and whispered, Mark and I, that happened a few months ago. This is just the retribution for what happened to us. In order to save my husband and marriage, I left my city and my home, flew here, and now live in a trailer on the mountainside, accompanying my husband and my husband's lover's dog. When I went out to walk the dog, I threw a stick and wanted to urinate, but I didn't want to wake up my husband who already had a problem with me. So I squatted down, and then I got this result. This is retribution. At this point, her emotions were about to collapse again, covering her mouth and sobbing. Adam heard this and lowered his head to treat, not looking at Dr. Montgomery's face, for fear that he could not help it. It was really speechless. Rival Meredith gave her dog to her husband, saying that she couldn't stay at home, and there was a large area on the mountain, so everyone could raise it together. You know, in the United States, pets have a very high status. Raising a dog together is an important manifestation of a closer relationship. For example, Sheldon and Amy raised a turtle together. That was a small step for them, but a big step for their relationship. In order to show her generosity, she not only had to be friendly to her rival, but also had to raise a dog that her rival gave to her husband. Then, she got infected with kudzu rash in order to walk the dog. Now Adam understands. Living on the hillside, there are weeds everywhere, and the lush vegetation is a unique scenery, but it will inevitably breed all kinds of snakes, insects, rats, ants and germs. Those who have lived in the countryside know that there are many plants in front of and behind the houses in the countryside, so mosquitoes are very poisonous in summer, and centipedes are bigger than one another. This is the case in the countryside, not to mention the mountains that maintain their original scenery. If you are not careful, it is too easy to get caught. Those who yearn for primitive pastoral life and wish to live in the Amazon jungle, if they really go in, it is estimated that within a day, they will cry and want to go back to the steel siege. Look at Dr. Montgomery, a famous doctor who is proficient in medical skills. Just because he let himself go in the primitive grass on the mountain and urinated anywhere, he was infected, and then he was so embarrassed by a kudzu rash that he almost collapsed. If this is a palace fighting movie, Adam seriously suspected that this was the heroine Meredith's careful calculation and silent revenge. Looking at Dr. Montgomery's infection that can cause fear in people with trypophobia, Adam couldn't help but sigh. Too cruel. This is not an ordinary kudzu rash, but a very, very serious kudzu rash. Dr. Shept, how about I get an ice pack? Adam didn't want to answer and change the subject. Will it work? Dr. Montgomery said painfully. It should have some effect, Adam said. Dryness, heat, itching and discomfort, ice. It will always work. Okay. Dr. Montgomery nodded. After Adam finished treating her, he went to get her an ice pack. In the morning, she used an ice pack to apply to her husband's wound. In the afternoon, it was her turn to apply ice packs to her wounds. Now she understood that her husband was unwilling to accept her ice packs and repeatedly emphasized that he was fine. Dr. Montgomery, you rest here first. I'm going out. Call me if you need anything, Adam said. He had already treated what he should treat. There was nothing for him to do now. He couldn't just keep watching her apply ice packs to her wounds like this. It was time to leave. Peace. There will be 2 more updates later. Chapter 584, Tri-and-Dye Medical Center. Ward. Adam wanted to leave after finishing the treatment. Okay. Dr. Montgomery nodded immediately. At this moment, she stretched out her hand to apply the ice pack to the wound, and her posture was too indecent. There was no way before. Now that the treatment is completed, after the professional ethics are gone, the sense of shame comes up again. Adam, lock the door. Dr. Montgomery thought of something and shouted. Here. Adam stopped and smiled bitterly. I don't have the key. The key is with the nurse. Then you can stay for a while and help me watch the door, Dr. Montgomery requested. Okay. Adam nodded helplessly. Help people to the end. Send Buddha to the west. This favor has been done to this extent, and it must be done thoroughly. Otherwise, it will be too much of a loss. In the ward, it was quiet for a while. After the treatment, Dr. Montgomery applied the ice pack, and finally felt less uncomfortable. He lay there, looking at the ceiling silently, and I don't know what he was thinking. After Adam locked the door, he sat down beside the bed, avoiding looking directly at Dr. Montgomery. Adhering to the principle of saying more and making more mistakes, he had no intention of speaking. After a while, Adam, can you help me call Derek? Dr. Montgomery asked. Okay. Although Adam didn't understand, he agreed immediately. He didn't want to stay here. The longer he stayed, the greater the risk of being gossiped about. After leaving the ward, he found Dr. Shept and brought him over. I'm going to show you something. You are not allowed to laugh or gloat over my misfortune. Dr. Montgomery had already pulled up the curtain and said to her husband outside the curtain, why would I gloat over my misfortune? Dr. Shept was very impatient and was stunned. Because I have a kudzu rash, Dr. Montgomery said. What? Dr. Shept pulled open the curtain and leaned over to look inside. He couldn't help but smile with gloating. You really have kudzu rash, and it's a very serious one. Are we even now? Seeing her husband gloating, Dr. Montgomery said coquettishly, isn't this bad enough? Isn't the retribution I got enough? Adam finally understood her plan. She was pretending to be pitiful to gain sympathy, but how can having kudzu rash be equated with being forgiven for being retributive after cheating? But before Adam could figure out the account, even more confusing human behavior happened. Dr. Shept laughed. He laughed, a very happy laugh, the kind of laugh that couples are very familiar with. So, Dr. Montgomery grabbed the pillow behind him and threw it at her husband. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha. Then the two flirting couples laughed. They laughed so happily and relieved. Only Adam, who had become a transparent man, had a face full of question marks. The classic voice seemed to ring in his mind. Little boy, do you have a lot of question marks? What happened? How could they forget their grudges by just smiling? Adam didn't dare to say or ask, and floated away silently. As long as the couple is happy. Emergency room. Bang. The door was pushed open from the outside. Don't let me see this dirty thing again. The beautiful emergency lady came in with a trolley, cursing. What's going on? Adam asked curiously. Who cares? Exclamation mark. The beautiful emergency lady looked irritable, and didn't even give Adam face. Without saying anything, she left the trolley and the patient, and slammed the door and left. Wow, who is this? She is so angry. Too much. You can't show your face to Dr. Duncan even if you are angry. I will remember her. The nurses talked about it. Carol, can you bring this gentleman's medical records? Adam smiled and asked, looking at the patient curiously, what did you do? This was the first time that his charm failed on a young and beautiful lady. Ah, woman, you succeeded in arousing my interest. Okay, this is what most people think, and Adam is a doctor. Therefore, what really interested Adam was what the patient did to make the beautiful emergency lady so angry. You know, this is not a simple matter of not giving Adam face. As an emergency worker following, she has the responsibility to quickly and accurately describe the patient's condition to the doctor. This kind of behavior of saying nothing, getting angry casually, cursing and slamming the door is definitely a manifestation of being dizzy. Nothing, just asked her about her heart. On the bed, a middle-aged man with a worrying hairline, half of his face bleeding, but his expression was very calm, holding a notebook and a pen in his hand. I have no malice. Did she do this? Adam was even more curious. No, the middle-aged man shook his head. It was the owner of the street newsstand who did it. What did you say? Adam laughed while examining him. Bad things about his Middle Eastern ancestry. The middle-aged man said unconcernedly. He has a bad temper. Do you have any other injuries? Adam asked. I think my ribs are broken. The middle-aged man pointed to the other side. Also the newsstand owner hit me. Adam walked over to check. It was the gardener in the park who did it. He is very sensitive about his hairstyle. The middle-aged man said seriously. Let me guess, you deliberately angered them. Adam laughed. You are not a theoretical physicist who has run out of inspiration and wants to change his brain? Very close. The middle-aged man looked at Adam in surprise. I am a sociologist at New York University, specializing in violence. I chose a topic and asked people 2 questions to find people's irritability points. Then I used the information I got to anger them until they beat me up. Haha. Adam couldn't help laughing. What are you laughing at? The middle-aged sociologist picked up a pen and paper, looking like he wanted to understand Adam. I have a friend, 2 friends. Adam smiled and said, one is a theoretical physicist and the other is a neurologist. In their eyes, sociology is not science at all. If they heard what you said just now, their science is very close to your sociology. I guess you don't need to deliberately provoke them. They will also be furious. Of course, no matter how furious they are, they will only look at you with contempt, and will not beat you up. Arrogant guys. The middle-aged sociologist looked disdainful. You look down on me, and I look down on you too. Indeed. Adam nodded. In fact, there is a problem with your topic. Some people don't even need to speak. Just a look or an expression can make people furious. And some people will not be furious and beat you up even if you ask questions to stimulate them. People are different, and there are too many variables. Oh? The middle-aged sociologist curled his lips, with an expression of you don't understand. Do you want to try? It seems that you think you are the kind of person who will not beat me up even if you stimulate me again. Can I ask you 2 questions? Okay. Adam shrugged indifferently. Try it and you will die. Anyway, he is sure that he will not be the one who suffers in the end. P.S. Thanks to Gabriel and Eric for the reward. Chapter 585 Come and Hit Me. Medical Center. Emergency Room. Treatment Room. Come on, come on. The middle-aged sociologist looked like the fire cloud evil god meeting the Condor heroes. Adam didn't mind letting him try. He was not Sheldon and Beverly, and he would not look down on sociologists for not being scientists. You are so young and handsome, and you can be a doctor at the New York Medical Center. You must have used a back door, right? The middle-aged sociologist pressed the stopwatch on his wrist. I am born handsome. There is nothing I can do about it. Adam smiled and said, but I am able to enter the medical center because of my own ability. In your eyes, does appearance come first, and talent should be second? As he spoke, he looked at the middle-aged sociologist's hairline, with an expression that said, you don't have any appearance at all. You can only become a sociologist because of your talent. Your first reaction to a problem should be talent. And you shouldn't be so superficial. The middle-aged sociologist's face darkened. You have to be honest, otherwise the research will be meaningless. Oh? Adam was surprised. It only makes sense, to be honest. Shouldn't it be you who distinguishes the information and then irritates others based on the information you get? And who would ask such a question? That doesn't count. The middle-aged sociologist twitched his mouth. You knew it in advance and had psychological predictions and protections in advance. So, there are too many variables. Adam spread his hands and said, "You are completely wasting your time on this topic, but as a scientist, it is understandable. I have several scientist friends who go to work every day, just checking emails, sending emails, reading the news, cheating for funding, and even watching action romance movies in full screen on their office computers. After all, you always have to find something to do to make yourself look busy. Otherwise, what if you get fired?" The middle-aged sociologist almost got angry himself instead of irritating Adam. Fortunately, he reacted quickly and looked at Adam in surprise. "You are very powerful." "I am not that powerful." Adam shook his head. "That's because you haven't seen a real great yin and yang master. Each of them is gifted." Alas, people always say that talent is the key, but talent is the first priority. The upper limit of most people's lifelong efforts is just the starting lower limit of gifted geniuses. The current news always reports that hard work is the most important. This is such a cruel thing, especially for those who firmly believe in this. I really hope they will never meet a real genius in their lifetime. Otherwise, the pain of shattered dreams is really unbearable for ordinary people. Adam kept looking at him while saying this. The middle-aged sociologist had already felt the power of yin and yang, but he was also mentally prepared. This time, he was not angry, but full of fighting spirit. "Do you have a family?" The middle-aged sociologist knew that ordinary tricks were useless against Adam, so he decided to use the ancient wisdom with a long history, pressed the timer on his wrist again, and asked with a smile. "Of course." Adam frowned, sensing the other party's ill intentions, and reminded, "Scientific investigations also have boundaries. Don't cross the basic boundaries." "I can't agree with this," the middle-aged sociologist said proudly. "The topic I chose is to study pi, which is the interval from provocation to attack, and to fight against negative emotions. As long as it can anger you, I can do anything. Just like unlimited fighting. This is for science, not against individuals." "Okay, that's it." Adam waved his hand and said, "I won't participate." "Why?" The middle-aged sociologist got excited. "Is it because you value your family so much, so you can't stand any insults to your family, or do you have any relationship beyond the normal with your family, and you are afraid that I will accidentally say it?" "Carol." Adam ignored him and called the nurse. "Mr. Desmond only has a superficial wound. You help him sew it up." "Okay." Nurse Carol immediately stepped forward. "What's wrong? Are you scared?" The middle-aged sociologist kept on saying a series of insulting words to Adam's family. Adam glanced at him. "You are angry, aren't you?" The middle-aged sociologist stared at Adam with surprise. "You want to hit me, don't you? Come on and hit me. Don't worry, I won't sue you. And I bought a sky-high premium. My insurance company charges my insurance premium according to the standards of NASCAR drivers. It's a waste not to use it." "Come on, Mr. Desmond, you are really joking." Adam smiled and said, "I am a doctor. How could I hit a patient?" After saying that, he turned and walked away. "I'm serious. This is all for science. Don't suppress your anger. Come on and hit me. The middle-aged sociologist shouted at Adam's back as he left, and then cried out in pain. "I'm sorry." Nurse Carol's apologetic voice came. "I'm new here and I'm not very skilled yet." Oh, God." The middle-aged sociologist cried out in pain one after another. Adam's mouth curled up slightly. He is a law-abiding doctor. How could he violate the hospital's rules and regulations and laws and beat a patient? Absolutely impossible. But the middle-aged sociologist's wish could still be satisfied by insulting and angering the nurse. In fact, if the middle-aged sociologist had not ignored Adam's reminder and dragged Adam's family into it, Adam would have told the nurse not to bully him. At that time, Adam would probably have asked John Carter to help him suture. Unfortunately, he didn't listen. If you use a needle to suture the wound on your face, it will hurt if you are not careful. But Adam still took it for granted and completely underestimated his position in the nurse's heart. When the new nurse Carol stuttered and sutured the middle-aged sociologist, and walked out of the ward, The nurses in the entire emergency department heard the news. This bastard. Too much. First, he caused Dr. Duncan to be treated roughly, and now he is directly insulting Dr. Duncan and his family. So angry. No, we can't let him go like this. The nurses whispered to each other, and looked at the ward where the middle-aged sociologist was with malicious eyes, and the middle-aged sociologist still knew nothing. A few minutes later, "Someone is here to accompany you, Mr. Desmond." Nurse Carol came in with the trolley. On the trolley was a very strong African-American man, with his upper body naked, muscular, and wearing shorts. He was a professional boxer, and he was fighting in underground boxing matches. He was in a very bad mood because he was knocked down 3 times in a row and knocked out by his opponent. "This is Mr. Parnell." Nurse Carol pulled the trolley to the next door of the middle-aged sociologist, introduced him, and left. This was not a VIP ward. There were beds for 2 patients in one ward. The hospital beds were very tight, so they had to be properly arranged and not wasted. "Hello." The middle-aged sociologist not only had no objection, but was also very happy. He was free anyway, and here was another research material, so he greeted him enthusiastically. "What's wrong with you?" "I don't want to talk about this." The sturdy man who was fighting underground boxing glanced at him and retracted his gaze. The middle-aged sociologist's eyes lit up. "Don't want to talk about it." At the nurses' station outside the ward, the nurses gathered together, staring at this place, and someone was timing it. 2 minutes later, bang, boom. The sound of a fist hitting flesh was heard, and then a figure groaning pain, slid out of the ward, and hit the corridor hard. The stern laughter of the strong man came from the ward. "That's the answer to your 2 questions. Chapter 586 Adam's Daughter Template, Medical Center. Emergency Room, Dr. Duncan. After the middle-aged sociologist Fang Tangjing's wish was fulfilled, he was knocked unconscious by a punch. A nurse immediately informed Adam of this unfortunate news and asked Adam to go over to help diagnose, enjoy, and treat. "Good play." "Mr. Desmond is so careless." Adam sighed. "I have never encountered a request like his in my life." "Neither have we." The nurse laughed. Now someone finally satisfied him. Adam nodded. "I won't go over. Let Dr. Lewis go see him. I hope he won't be so persistent in looking for a fight. Otherwise he will be the result before his project comes out." "Okay, Dr. Duncan." The nurse smiled and agreed and left. Adam laughed dumbly. The project of this middle-aged sociologist is very interesting, but there are too many variables. The first is that people who actively provoke others are divided into different levels. Sheldon has been on the road of angering others every day since he was born. For decades, he has only been punched in the eye by Peggy, punched in the nose by Penny, and slapped in the face by Leonard. Sheldon asked for the slap from Leonard. Penny pretended to be frightened and hit Sheldon when he sneaked up to her at night and stretched out his evil hand to her chest. Otherwise, she couldn't do it even if she was angry. You know, Sheldon's daily straightforwardness and stabbing are the kind that can make people angry to death. But why is he still alive and well? It's because of his appearance. Leonard and Penny often treat Sheldon as a child. When they broke up, they were jealous of who took Sheldon shopping and playing. When Sheldon came back tired after a day of playing and fell asleep, they looked at the sleeping Sheldon and sighed. Sheldon is like an angel when he is asleep. Without the basic attributes of handsomeness, cuteness and wisdom, Sheldon would not have lived to adulthood. Sheldon once compared himself to a bird, lurking in the nests of other birds, squeezing out the resources of the original young birds. Leonard compared him to a seal cub, snatching milk from 2 mothers. This shows that Sheldon has a confusing aura, which makes people reluctant to do it. Just look at Peggy, who crushes Sheldon in both IQ and appearance. Only she can ignore Sheldon's aura. If she is really annoyed, no matter whether you are handsome or cute, or whether you have a wisdom aura or not, she will punch you without hesitation. Anyway, no matter how handsome and cute you are not as pretty as me. Anyway, no matter how smart you are not as smart as me. Of course, his twin sister Missy has to be talked about separately, because Missy has been fighting with Sheldon since her mother's womb. She was almost absorbed into a mole by Sheldon's cruelty. She is Sheldon's natural enemy, and it is normal for her to tease him with a crotch kick. A bald middle-aged sociologist, with no good looks at all. No matter how much research he does, it is all one-sided, and the data is not universal. You can consider making a correction factor for appearance when the time comes. Let's see how much this world that values appearance really values appearance. At night, Dr. Duncan, the nurse, winked at Adam. Adam looked towards the ward and saw several long-legged high school cheerleaders dancing with very abnormal expressions. Did you take drugs? Adam frowned. Probably. The nurse nodded. I'm Dr. Duncan. Adam walked over, but was interrupted before he could finish his words. Wow, so handsome. I like you so much. I'm %you. The three cheerleaders shouted with silly smiles on their faces and rushed over directly. Asshole. The only tall male student was furious and rushed over. They are mine. Shit. Adam cursed inwardly, dodged flexibly, and knocked down the tall male student in a few seconds, and then pressed the three laughing cheerleaders on the bed. Restraint belt. The nurse was also stunned, seeing that the three coquettish bitches wanted to take advantage of the opportunity. She immediately called out, and several nurses rushed in, replaced Adam, held them down, and tied them to the bed with restraint belts to prevent them from moving. Did you bring them here? Adam stretched out his hand and pulled the tall male student who fell to the ground up in the air. Yes. The tall boy was frightened by Adam's strength and so barred up a lot. He was a football player and had a natural fear of strength. What did you feed them? Shake your head? Adam stared at him. Yes. The tall boy nodded. No other messy things mixed in? Adam looked at him coldly. In the United States of the American TV series, all kinds of drugs are rampant. Many times, when people take too much of a single drug, they like to try mixing drugs. It is more exciting, but also more dangerous. If you want to test it, I have more. The tall boy pointed to his backpack. Bring it here. Adam let go of him, let him land on his heels, and ordered. After the tall boy landed, his feet softened and he almost fell. He staggered and took out a large box of heart-shaped chocolates from his backpack. You put drugs in the chocolates? Adam's eyes became colder. Yes. In the American high school of the American TV series, few girls who are willing to be cheerleaders are good people. Cheerleaders and football quarterbacks are generally celebrity couples in American high schools. Cheerleaders have a lot of fun with players from football, basketball, baseball and other teams. Many times, a whole cheerleading team may have a friendship relationship with a star player or a star team. It is also common to take drugs together to get high, but taking drugs actively and being drugged passively are two completely different concepts. In Adam's memory, there were many innocent and kind girls who were drugged at parties and then abandoned themselves and fell. Drugs were put into chocolate and other foods, which was simply impossible to prevent. Because the United States and the American TV series is a party country, and normal social interactions more or less require attending parties, once you eat drugged food or drink drugged drinks, your body will be completely out of control, your reaction will be slow, and you will be easily hurt with a silly smile on your face. Afterwards, you don't even know how many people have violated you. In addition to the psychological trauma caused by yourself and external pointing and pointing, subsequent physical trauma such as illness and pregnancy are also serious sequelae that must be faced. What's worse is that you may not be able to wait until the future to face these psychological and physical traumas. Do you know that they may have epilepsy, kidney damage, coma, or even death? Adam said coldly. The tall boy lowered his head and said, it's not that exaggerated. Can you not tell the police about this kind of thing? No. Adam sneered. Not only will the police know, you and their parents will know, and I will make sure they are very clear about every consequence of this kind of thing. The tall boy's face suddenly turned pale. Take it for testing. Adam pointed to the big box of heart-shaped chocolates. The nurse came forward in response. Oh. Adam looked at the cheerleader who was still twisting and turning on the bed and grinning, and sighed in his heart. If he has a daughter in the future, he would rather she be a nerd than a social expert. If there really comes a day like that, he might send his daughter to Juno to be trained. He is afraid that his son will be raised by Juno to be a pervert. But as for his daughter, in an environment like the American TV world, it is better for her to be perverted to others than for others to be perverted to her. Peace. There is only one chapter at noon, and the other chapters will be updated in the evening. Please forgive me. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 587. Do you like it? Medical Center. Late at night, after the effects of taking drugs wore off, the three long-legged cheerleaders soon no longer needed restraints. After the nurse untied them, they sat side by side, staring at the TV, not moving at all. The tall boy was also an old hand. He simply shook his head after putting drugs in chocolate, without mixing anything else, and he didn't dare let them eat too much. But even so, when the parents of the three girls arrived, they were completely furious when they saw their daughters with dazed expressions and no reaction to the outside world. It was one thing to walk over like that, but it was another to see it with your own eyes. The boys' parents were almost beaten up. The police who came to record the statement made great efforts to stop the group fight. Adam said everything he should say and did everything he should do. What happened next was not something he could control. There are many such things in American high schools in the American TV series world. Adam left the ward and stopped walking in the corridor. He turned around and looked at the nurse who was standing facing the wall and seemed to be looking at something. Something is wrong. There is something strange. Debbie, are you okay? Adam walked over and patted the nurse on the shoulder. With his talent, he knew everyone in the hospital, and all kinds of information were firmly remembered in his mind. Everyone he met was like an old acquaintance, which was one of the important reasons why Adam was so popular. What? Nurse Debbie still looked at the empty corridor wall and asked with a smile without turning her head. Huh? Adam frowned, pulled Nurse Debbie, turned her body around, and saw her face. It was a face full of joy. It was a pity that it was a little dull. No way. Adam's mouth twitched, and he waved to the nurse station. Carol. Dr. Duncan. What's wrong? Nurse Carol ran over immediately. Take Debbie to the ward. She seems to have taken drugs. Adam ordered, then realized something and asked, where is the box of drug chocolates? Ah! Nurse Carol immediately understood what Adam meant and exclaimed, I saw it in the nurse's lounge just now. Put it away quickly and destroy it. Adam checked Nurse Debbie and was relieved to see that it was not serious. He said speechlessly, Yes. Yes. Nurse Carol agreed and helped Nurse Debbie to the lounge. Adam shook his head. This is the harm of adding food to the diet. You never know if you will be affected. In fact, he can understand the nurse's behavior. Nurses are very busy, otherwise there would not be the last collective strike of nurses. Sometimes they are so busy that they have no time to go to the cafeteria to eat. When they are too hungry to bear it, some nurses in the ward will take some fruit snacks bought by the patients who come to visit them to fill their stomachs and continue to work. No one will say anything. Patients in a good mood don't mind, and those in a bad mood either don't notice it or can't notice it anymore. Not to mention nurses. Doctors sometimes do this too. Dr. House next door likes this. When his doctors go to patients' homes to find the source of the disease, they especially like to eat food from the patients' homes. Sometimes they also like to have sex on the patient's bed. They are really bold, not afraid of being infected by the food they eat, or the patient's bed is the source of infection. This time, the nurse, who was obviously unaware, couldn't resist the temptation of the heart-shaped chocolate, and took it directly to the nurse's lounge, and was infected after eating it. In order to deceive three long-legged people, the football players spent a lot of money. Such a big box of heart-shaped chocolates is not cheap. 2 hours later, after Adam and Alice Gray finished their small meal, they were about to go back when they met Nurse Carol. How is Debbie? Just like that. Nurse Carol smiled bitterly and said, this time it's really embarrassing. Debbie is not the only one who ate the added chocolate. More than one? Adam was shocked. Let's go and take a look. Led by Nurse Carol, Adam went to the nurse's lounge and saw a jaw-dropping scene. 6 nurses sat side by side, each holding a box of ice cream in her hand, smiling dully but extremely happy, eating the ice cream slowly. The key is that the speed is very slow, not the kind of eating and chewing slowly, just licking slowly, pursing lips from time to time, smacking lips, as if eating something delicious. The male nurses on the side looked at the same ice cream in their hands for a while, and then looked at the ice cream in their hands. Some of them were dazed, and some of them bent their bodies with strange expressions, not knowing what they were thinking. Adam took a look and knew what Carol meant by "this time I'm embarrassed," and then he left. "Officer Beckett." "Yes, it's me." "Yes, I also want to report it," Adam called Kate. As an excellent citizen, he has the responsibility to report and pressure the law enforcement agencies for today's bad drugging behavior, and urge the law enforcement agencies to pay special attention. The impact is really bad. Look at this chain reaction. What has become of the 6 nurses who were caught? What if someone saw them and mistakenly thought that the medical center was an irregular hospital? Or what if the nurses who were infected were still injecting drugs into patients without knowing it, leading to serious medical accidents? Or what if the abnormal performance of those nurses made other normal medical staff dumbfounded and led to serious medical accidents? Adam didn't know what happened to others, but Adam was very angry when he saw the scene just now. He had to do something. If Kate, the law enforcement officer, could not give him a satisfactory answer, he would not rule out breaking the news to the media of the fourth public power and become an insider who did not want to reveal his name. He believed that Robin, a very motivated reporter, would be very interested. "Kate, I hope you won't let me down," Adam muttered to himself, left the hospital and drove to the apartment. The next day, Adam went to work with a dark face, because Kate was indeed unreliable. Even Robin, who heard the news and knew that she was facing the darkest shadow of society and did not dare to face such a behemoth, was scared at the first time. Dressing room. "He's not as hateful as you say." Adam just arrived and heard Meredith talking about Mark, who cheated on her ex-boyfriend. His psychiatrist, who charges him $400 an hour, told him that behind his rough and confident appearance, he is a self-loathing, self-destructive, and almost pathological person. "No one is perfect. Cheating is wrong, but as a husband, don't you have any responsibility?" "Is he really a good husband? Haha." Adam smiled and pushed open the door. "This psychiatrist is something. He always says what the clients want to hear. No wonder he can charge $400 an hour. $400 an hour, 10 hours a day, is $4,000. Even if you have 2 days off a week, it's $20,000 a week. If you calculate it based on 50 weeks a year, it's an annual salary of $1 million, which is definitely a super high income, and a big boss who raises the average income of psychiatrists. You don't agree?" Meredith looked at Adam. "Of course I don't agree," Adam complained, after saying so much, finding so many theories to support it, and inventing so many new terms to explain it. "It all comes down to not being able to control your lower body. Are you self-loathing? You're just lusting after her body. You're a slut. P.S. There's only one chapter tonight. Please forgive me." Chapter 588. Who wants to join? Medical Center. Dressing room. "So, you're not going to participate in his surgery?" Meredith was choked by Adam and was speechless. She looked at Adam sarcastically. "What surgery?" Adam was excited. "A patient with severe skull structural development disorder just came to the hospital." Christina interrupted. "Lion syndrome?" Adam was surprised. "Leo syndrome, as the name suggests, has a face like a lion." "Yes," Christina nodded. "This rare disease is the favorite of plastic surgeons. Once successful, the before and after photos of the operation will be released to the media, and then the plastic surgeon will be in the limelight. Not only the favorite of plastic surgeons, but also the favorite of the hospital." Meredith reminded. "Mark is the best plastic surgeon on the East Coast. If he performs this kind of operation, don't you want to participate?" "Yes." Adam was very honest. Although he was not going to be a plastic surgeon, it would never be wrong to learn a few more skills, not to mention that the other party was one of the best plastic surgeons. Now he is following Dr. Burke, a top cardiothoracic surgeon, Dr. Shept, a top neurosurgeon, Dr. Montgomery, a top pediatric surgeon, and Alice Gray, a super powerful legendary doctor. If one of the best plastic surgeons on the East Coast is added, Adam's mentor team will be even more powerful. It seems that he still has some advantages. Meredith smiled. "I never said he didn't have advantages." Adam was surprised and said, "The level of professionalism and one's character are two completely different things. I recognize his superb professional skills and want to learn a few tricks from him. but it doesn't mean that I recognize him as a person." "That's right," George agreed. Christina and Liz looked at George at the same time, their eyes full of teasing. "What's wrong?" George said dissatisfiedly. "It's normal for Adam to despise you, but you are probably envious and jealous." Christina said the key. "Yeah," Liz said with longing, "I think I can look like him, handsome and in good shape." No wonder Dr. Montgomery can't control himself. Dr. Montgomery is really lucky. Her husband is Mr. Dreamy and her lover is Mr. Dreamy Beast. TSK. Meredith, you are not attracted to this Mark, are you? Christina looked at Meredith and asked the key question. No, Meredith immediately retorted. The reason why she supported Mark so much was actually because Mark said to her, "I heard about you in Boston. A lustful intern who had an affair with the attending doctor. We are both cheap mistresses." This sentence made her feel the same. Of course, it is not ruled out that Mark is handsome, stylish, and very seductive, even if there is a little, "So what?" Seeing Adam and the others looking at her with disbelief, Meredith said angrily, "They have returned to their families and live together. What's so strange about us two mistresses getting close to each other?" "Well, it's not strange at all," Adam nodded. "But are you sure you let go of Dr. Shept?" The last time this Mark and Dr. Montgomery talked about life and ideals on the bed, Dr. Shept just gently closed the door and left. But this time, you and this Mark just flirted with each other in public, and Dr. Shept rushed over and punched you. The same scene. Don't you think the difference is too big? "But he didn't choose me," Meredith suddenly shouted. "Maybe he wants to have it all?" Adam heard someone coming and shrugged to end the topic. Everyone. Adam changed his clothes and walked out. Christina followed closely. "Are you kidding?" Christina walked beside Adam and whispered, "Who knows?" Adam smiled and didn't say much. The two completely different actions of punching and closing the door clearly exposed Dr. Shep's true emotional inclination. In this situation, a normal person would choose to start over with the passionate lover rather than a wife who has no feelings for him anymore. But Dr. Shep's actions have always been confusing. Who knows what he is thinking? Maybe he doesn't want to lose anyone. On the one hand, he continues to maintain his friendship and family affection with his wife, and on the other hand, he maintains a vague love with Meredith and acts as a confidant. Men are all very philanthropic, which is understandable. In the morning, after checking the room, a pair of former good friends and later rivals in love started a war again. This patient with Leo syndrome has a malignant tumor in his brain. Dr. Shept wanted to perform a tumor removal surgery on him, and Mark Sloan, who got the news, went directly to the patient and said that he could give him a more normal face. Not surprisingly, the teenager who was discriminated and humiliated because of Leo syndrome insisted on having plastic surgery. Outside the office of the director of surgery, Adam and others gathered there, looking inside through the glass window from a distance. "Can you read what he said?" Christina tilted her head and kept chasing after Dr. Shept, who was walking around. "Quack bitch," Adam translated with a smile. "Wow." Liz was amazed. "So hot-tempered." He made a gesture. "Does he want to hit Dr. Sloan again?" Christina watched the fun without thinking too much. "You think too much." Adam laughed. For someone like Dr. Shept, throwing a punch is already his limit. "If you want him to do it again, forget it." Of course, it's not completely impossible. If Dr. Shept went home and suddenly saw Mark Sloan hugging Meredith on the left and Dr. Montgomery on the right, showing him a Dragon King's evil smile, I guess no matter how good Dr. Shep's temper is, he will rush over and fight him. When Adam thought of this, many classic scenes flashed through his mind. It must be said that the island culture is very well studied in this kind of human conflict. "Adam, what do you think this time?" Christina gave up lip reading and looked at Adam. "Should we do only the tumor resection, or do them together?" "In theory, I support Dr. Shept," Adam pondered. "You have also seen the MRI film of this malignant tumor. It is very dangerous. Even if Dr. Shept does it, the chances are not great. It is best to concentrate all our energy on the tumor resection to save his life. Although the subsequent plastic surgery will not affect anything, this plastic surgery is also a very delicate operation and takes a lot of time. If two delicate operations are connected together, the patient will need anesthesia for too long, and the risks will increase more or less." "But what about in reality?" Liz asked. "Realistic?" Adam said with a smile. "Didn't you see the patient's expression? He was indifferent to the malignant tumor and so on. He was talking and laughing. He didn't look like a 15-year-old boy at all. He looked more like a wise man who saw through life and death. But when it came to him having a normal face, he couldn't hold it anymore. When his parents advised him not to have plastic surgery, he begged with his eyes and repeatedly asked his parents to agree. He knew very well what he needed. We are doctors, so we should try our best to meet the needs of patients." "That's right," Liz agreed. "If it were me, I would make the same choice. This world that values appearance is cruel enough for ordinary people, not to mention people with physical defects. I can imagine what kind of discrimination he has suffered." Adam and the others all squinted at her. "Can you imagine the long legs of a standard blonde bare face? Who are you trying to fool? The director has spoken." Adam reminded and began to read lips. The director said, "Dr. Sloan, if the child's parents are willing to sign a consent form, you can do plastic surgery." Dr. Sloan said to Dr. Shept, "The asshole won the second round." At this time, Mark Sloan came out, walked in front of the crowd, and glanced at everyone. "Who of you is interested in joining this operation? As long as you can help convince the patient's parents, you can join. P.S. Thanks to the rewards from Submobile Phone, Canifia and Bay Lions. The night before yesterday, I kicked off the quilt and caught a cold. I feel uncomfortable. It seems that I can't resist it and need to buy medicine. Since the new crown, I dare not cough loudly with phlegm in my throat, for fear of attracting other people's strange looks. I have been in a bad state these 2 days and have updated less. I hope to recover as soon as possible. Forgive me." Chapter 589, A Little Bit of Understanding. Medical Center. Me. Adam and Liz raised their hands at the same time. George lowered his head, obviously still minded that his goddess Meredith had been flirting with the bitch in front of him so quickly, and stubbornly expressed his dissatisfaction in this way. As for Christina, she is now a favorite in Dr. Shep's eyes, and she often follows Dr. Shept for surgery, and her best friend Meredith, naturally, follows her boyfriend Dr. Burke for surgery. Perfect swap. Obviously Dr. Shept has not given up on Meredith, and silently cares for Meredith in this way. Dr. Burke knows this tacitly. Dr. Shept arranged Christina to be the attending physician for this teenager with Lion syndrome. Very good. Mark Sloan glanced at the two of them. His eyes skipped Adam directly, and focused on Liz, with a bright smile on his lips. Adam was sure that this was the smile of LSP. Don't ask him why he knew. Liz was a little shy under such gaze, but she couldn't control the curve of her mouth, as if she wanted to refuse but also wanted to welcome. Obviously, what she said before, that she could have such a handsome and strong lover, was not a lie. Come with me. Mark Sloan greeted the two people, of course mainly greeted Liz, and walked side by side with her, smiling brightly. Dr. Liz Stevenson. Just call me Liz. Liz smiled a little shyly. It seems that you have no chance. Christina and Adam walked side by side behind, whispering, that may not be the case. Adam smiled slightly. This matter mainly depends on the attending doctor. Christina shook her head and said, he can take whoever he wants to take. Obviously he is a qualified playboy who only likes to take beautiful women like Liz. You are too superficial in your view of the problem. Adam smiled. What do you mean? Christina looked at Adam in surprise. Did you see how they quarreled before? Adam smiled and said, Dr. Sloan obviously asked Dr. Shept to forgive him. So? Christina was confused and said, isn't this normal? It can't be that Dr. Shept asked Dr. Sloan for forgiveness. You didn't grasp the key issue. Adam reminded, when Dr. Sloan said that, he sounded quite righteous, as if it should be like this, as if, okay, stop making trouble. Are you angry enough? I didn't want to break up you and your husband before, I just wanted to join you. Christina was stunned by what she heard, with a black question mark on her face. She tried hard to recall the previous scene, and said in disbelief, really? Is that so? Taste it carefully. Adam played with the taste. Hiss. Christina thought for a long time and took a breath. It seems to be true. Not only that, Adam laughed softly, Does this operation really have to be performed together? Dr. Sloan can wait for Dr. Shept to finish the operation before taking over. With his fame and the trust he brings to patients when he first enlightens them to a new direction, no one can hinder him, but he won't. He has to conflict with Dr. Shept and has to do the operation together now, even if the lawsuit is brought to the chief surgeon. Even if the patient's parents are a little resistant, he has to do it together. After the success, he also said to Dr. Shept that the bastard won the second round. Who is this bastard? Of course it's himself. He calls himself that. Obviously he knows that he is not doing good to Dr. Shept, but he is very righteous and has to provoke Dr. Shept. What kind of behavior is this? I would rather you hate me than have no eyes for me, Christina murmured. Now you understand. Adam smiled playfully. Christian nodded first, then reacted and said speechlessly, what do I understand? Even if Dr. Sloan is really philanthropic, what does this have to do with choosing Liz or you? Do you want to? Don't let your imagination run wild. Adam patted Christina. I didn't say this has anything to do with whether he chooses Liz or me. I just simply refuted your point of view that Dr. Sloan only likes beauties like Liz. If there is no miracle this time, he will indeed only choose Liz. Christina rolled her eyes speechlessly. So you ask yourself if you are a miracle? Who told him to consider the impact at the beginning and not say it firmly? Adam smiled. But it is understandable, because if he chose Liz at the beginning and Liz did not respond enthusiastically, wouldn't that be embarrassing? He is the best plastic surgeon on the East Coast. Doesn't he have any face? Do you still have a way to turn the tables and make him give up Liz and choose you? Christina asked curiously. I can't say there is a way, Adam said modestly. I can only say we can try. In the ward, I don't agree. The patient's parents, reminded by Dr. Shept, were very resistant to the practice of doing two delicate operations at the same time. Dad, the boy with Leo syndrome shouted. Jack, we are not in a hurry. We will do the tumor surgery first. After it is healed, we will talk about plastic surgery later. The patient's father comforted. Yes, the patient's mother agreed. You are handsome enough in my eyes. We just want you to survive. It is actually safer to combine the two operations. Mark Sloan began to persuade, but the patient's parents looked at the wounds on Mark's face. Their trust in him was not as high as that of the gentle Dr. Shept, so they were unwilling to sign the consent form. Mark had no choice but to look at Liz. Mr. Burton, Mrs. Burton, Dr. Sloan is the best plastic surgeon on the East Coast, Liz said. He is the only one who can guarantee a successful plastic surgery for your son. This opportunity is rare because Dr. Sloan is not a doctor in our hospital. He may leave at any time. It would be a pity to miss this opportunity. Dr. Sloan, can you leave us a business card? The patient's father looked at Mark. If the operation is successful this time, we will visit you specially when we need it and ask you to perform surgery on Jack. I believe Dr. Sloan will not refuse. Right? Of course. Mark Sloan met the patient's father's gaze and could only smile. Dad, Mom, I want to do it now. The boy finally couldn't help it. I believe in Dr. Sloan. I'm not afraid of taking risks. I know you think I'm handsome enough, but that's your duty. Others don't think so. I don't think so either. I need this operation. Jack, you don't know what the result of the operation will be, the patient's father advised. The result is probably not as good as you think. I don't need to know, the young Jack said firmly. No matter what the result is, I will accept it. Look at me. What could be worse than this? When he said this, his hand pointing at his face trembled. Woo woo woo. The patient's mother saw her son say this and covered her mouth with tears. She knew that this was the biggest pain in her son's heart. How humorous and frank her son was usually, how sad it was when he said it now. Mr. Burton, Mrs. Burton, Adam, who had been standing aside, holding a medical record and writing something, spoke. The result of plastic surgery can actually be known in advance, you see. As he said this, he put a piece of paper in front of them. On the paper, an ordinary-looking boy looked at them with a smile. The Burtons recognized their son Jack at first sight. They looked exactly like him. Is this me? How can it be like this? The young Jack and the Burtons cried out. Dr. Sloan? Adam did not answer, but looked at Mark Sloan, who was in a daze. How can it be? Mark looked at Adam in shock. This is the plastic surgery effect I envisioned. How did you do it? I know a little about human anatomy and plastic surgery. Adam smiled modestly. My memory and imagination are not bad. And I am also good at math and sketching. Everyone. Chapter 590. Adam is a petty person. Medical Center. As soon as Adam's sketch came out, the patient's family was immediately impressed. They took the sketch and looked at it again and again, and finally nodded in agreement. This is not surprising. Just like when decorating a house at the beginning, the decoration company that can produce renderings is much more popular than the decoration company that only relies on words. There is no other reason. Ordinary people don't have such a good imagination. No matter how much you say, it is also very empty and has no practical concept. But once the 3D rendering comes out, everyone can see at a glance what their house will look like after decoration. The unknown will worry, and people will easily accept things that they can understand. The patient's mother said that her son is handsome enough, but she also wants her son to become the same as the sketch, or even more handsome. You can also sketch? Christina asked in a low voice. Just learned it. Adam smiled and said, we are doctors. We can even hold a scalpel. What's so difficult about sketching? As long as the opponent has enough control, it's okay to directly print the image in the mind with your hands. Christina was speechless and could only give a look of you are awesome. Okay, let's get ready. Mark Sloane's eyes flashed, and he clapped his hands and said, Dr. Stevenson, follow me into the operating room. Me? Liz was surprised. Don't you want to? Mark Sloane smiled. Yes. Liz looked at Adam, who was smiling calmly, and nodded in confusion. Well, go get ready, Mark Sloane said, and then he left. Adam and the other two also walked out of the ward. Aren't you angry? Christina looked at Adam, who looked calm. In surprise, you turned the tide. A sketch persuaded the patient's parents. According to the agreement, you should follow him into the operating room. What's there to be angry about? Adam smiled and said, didn't you say before that this was the decision of the attending doctor? Do I have to argue with the chief surgeon in front of the patient and his family? But Christina still couldn't accept it. Aren't you too calm? Adam, I don't want to either. Liz apologized. It has nothing to do with you. Adam smiled and said, this is a very normal thing. Don't think too much about it. I will just take it as Dr. Sloane's appreciation of me. After saying that, he nodded to the two and left. Appreciation? Liz was even more confused. Christina thought for a moment, and then shouted at Adam's back, no way. You are not so arrogant, are you? What do you mean by arrogant? What does this have to do with arrogance? Liz asked in confusion. Adam feels that his performance has put a lot of pressure on Dr. Sloane, so Dr. Sloane doesn't want to take him into the operating room. Christina said the key. Is he kidding? Liz said in disbelief. Can Adam put pressure on Dr. Sloane? To this extent? What's impossible? Christina analyzed. To become a top plastic surgeon, the most important elements are knowledge of human anatomy and plastic surgery, memory and spatial imagination, good aesthetics and the ability to create beauty, and a pair of precise and controllable hands, and enough practical experience. In addition to practical experience, Adam has shown everything else through a sketch just now. Didn't you see the shock on Dr. Sloane's face when he saw the sketch? Adam, a layman in plastic surgery and a rookie in clinical medicine, just came into contact with a case and directly drew the final plastic surgery effect diagram summarized from his many years of experience. Relying on what Adam called the basic elements of a decent plastic surgeon and a little math calculation, he can be exactly the same. Do you know what this means? It means Adam's talent is higher than his, Liz murmured. It's not higher, Christina reminded. It's much higher. More importantly, plastic surgeons are different from cardiothoracic surgery and neurosurgery, which are departments that save lives. The siphon phenomenon and the winner-takes-all phenomenon are more serious, because the high-quality customers who can really bring a lot of income will only find the top one to perform surgery on them. And they don't care which hospital the doctor is in. Anyway, it doesn't matter if they have a little time, they can just take a plane there. Dr. Sloane is now the most powerful plastic surgeon on the East Coast, but once Adam is interested in plastic surgery, with Adam's amazing talent, it won't take long for him to crush Dr. Sloane. Don't talk about the strength of plastic surgery technology. Adam's sketch effect picture can make Dr. Sloan lose his temper. Dr. Sloan's biggest advantage is that he has enough practical experience, but Adam knows a little math, although I don't know how he calculated it. But it seems that he can save Dr. Sloan's many years of practical experience through calculations and directly achieve a more perfect plastic surgery effect. But think about it. It's understandable. Plastic surgery pays attention to aesthetics, and mathematics is the foundation of all sciences. Aesthetics is no exception. Can't the perfect body, golden ratio and so on be expressed in mathematics? It's not that exaggerated, right? Liz said in disbelief. Who knows? Christina shrugged and said, I didn't think about it at first, but apart from this reason, it was Adam who played a decisive role. He should have gone into the operating room with you. But why did Dr. Sloan let you go in without even mentioning it? You don't think he really likes you, do you? He doesn't even care about his face for you and doesn't keep his word? Liz was speechless. She wasn't that confident yet. So, Adam is actually most suitable to be a plastic surgeon? It seems so. Christina nodded, but Dr. Sloan can be thankful, because Adam probably won't choose to be a plastic surgeon. Why? Liz subconsciously said. Plastic surgeons are both profitable and easy. Does Adam need to consider whether he can make money or not? Christina glanced at her, looking at how hard he works. Do you think he cares about whether it's easy or not? After so long, haven't you realized that what he wants most is to cure diseases and save lives? Liz was stunned, and then smiled bitterly. Besides, he is indeed extremely talented in plastic surgery. Christina sighed. But doesn't he have any talent in other medicine? You won't forget that he is now doing the work of a senior resident as an intern. When we want to follow the residents and attending doctors to perform surgery, he can perform surgery almost every day, right? Shit. Liz twitched her lips. I really forgot about it. It's just that we are following a famous doctor into the operating room as an assistant. We are happy, but he may not be. Damn it. I apologize to him. He really doesn't care. You can't say that, Christina reminded in a low voice. You are right to apologize. Maybe he doesn't care, but you know Adam, he is narrow-minded. If you don't apologize, he may make things difficult for you one day. Don't forget about Joe. Liz was speechless and nodded in agreement. P.S. Thank you Batman, Joker and Fujihan for the reward. I will try to update 3 times today. Please forgive me for not feeling well. Chapter 591 Adam, Advice, Medical Center. Observation Room. Adam walked in and sat next to Meredith and George. Has it started? Adam said casually. It's about to start. Meredith glanced at Adam and said, You were defeated by Liz? Isn't that normal? Adam looked at the 2 groups of people who didn't communicate much downstairs and smiled. No one can always win. In fact, if you weren't here, we wouldn't have any chance at all. What do you mean? Meredith felt offended. I'm praising you, Adam said seriously. People pay attention to first impressions. Didn't you always speak for Dr. Sloan before? If he chooses you, we really won't be surprised at all. Didn't you see that George didn't even want to participate? I don't like him, George said with a puffed face. Adam shrugged. Meredith understood what Adam meant and retracted her gaze without answering, because she knew why George didn't like Mark Sloan. But she couldn't give George what he wanted, especially after she saw her biological father who had been away from her for more than 10 years again. This possibility was completely gone. George, who looks and has a temperament very similar to her biological father, is suitable to be a friend or bestie, but definitely not suitable to be her boyfriend. It's too awkward. Observing in the operating room. The operation has officially begun. The first operation is naturally the removal of a malignant brain tumor. Dr. Shept opened the patient's skull plate. Damn it, give me the sponge and bring another unit of blood. A lot of blood has been lost. Connected to the blood transfusion regulator, the head artery has no pulse. Ventricular fibrillation. Try the cardiopulmonary resuscitation machine. He is bleeding heavily. Use the defibrillator. Dr. Shept had just opened the skull when he found that the patient's brain condition was worse than what was shown in the MRI film, and he was busy for a while. Dr. Mark Sloan took over the defibrillator and, according to Dr. Shept's instructions, gave the patient an electric shock to restore his heartbeat. However, the condition was too serious, and everything he did was in vain. The boy with Leo syndrome did not even wait for the plastic surgery he wanted most. Time of death, 10:23. Dr. Shept glanced at the time expressionlessly, and after announcing the death, he left the operating room directly. The same was true for Mark Sloan. The chief surgeon in the observation room shook his head and left disappointed. He did not wait for the press conference he wanted. The other medical staff also left one by one, leaving only Christina and Liz to deal with the follow-up. Adam walked down, pushed the door and entered the operating room. Christina, Liz, are you interested in doing a plastic surgery together? You mean? The two immediately looked at the boy with Leo syndrome who had died on the operating table. Yes, Adam nodded. Accompany me to meet his parents and try to get their consent. Let's do this operation together. Why not find Dr. Sloan? Liz hesitated and said, he is the most suitable candidate. At this point, she couldn't say anything more because she saw Christina winking at her. There's no need to bother him. A top plastic surgeon, with this kind of thing that even an undertaker can do, Adam said calmly. Can't the three of us handle it? Don't worry. After we're done, if you're worried, you can ask Dr. Sloan to come over and give us some pointers. Okay. Liz nodded with a wry smile. Okay. What Christina said was indeed true. Adam was a petty person. He just wanted to retaliate when he got a chance after being offended a little bit. What pointers? He was clearly showing off his skills. He said to Dr. Sloan, who had rejected him, with practical actions. Is the best plastic surgeon on the East Coast so awesome? Is plastic surgery for leonine disease difficult? It's just so-so. After further understanding that Adam was a petty person, Liz had no other ideas. Just do it. It's already like this. Just think of them as undertakers. Even if there is something wrong, we can still find someone to fix it. And she was also very curious whether Christina's analysis was true. Did Dr. Sloan really choose her because he was afraid of Adam's talent? After Adam is done, she will go to Dr. Sloan to see him. By then, she may get the answer by keeping an eye on his expression. Adam and his two companions went over to find the patient's parents who had received the news and were grieving there, and told them the matter. Thanks to the sketch drawn by Adam, the patient's parents felt that their child died in a happy vision, and they were very grateful to Adam. Without saying much, they signed the consent form. They also wanted to let more people see what Jack should have looked like at Jack's funeral. Okay, let's start. Adam and his two companions returned to the operating room, took the surgical instruments needed for plastic surgery, and pushed the dead Jack to the morgue. The operating rooms in the hospital are very tight, and it is impossible to let a dead patient occupy the operating room. Therefore, plastic surgery can only be performed in the morgue. But it doesn't matter, because there is no need for a life support system now. As long as the tools for plastic surgery are complete, it is the same to do it in the morgue. That's how those undertakers work. Adam, do you really want to do it yourself? Liz couldn't help asking again. What do you think? Adam put on his gloves and glanced at her. We've gone to so much trouble. Are we kidding? But you've never done it before. Liz was entangled. It's too much to start with the most complicated plastic surgery, isn't it? Let's try. Adam smiled. It's not as difficult as you think. I think I can do it. Okay, it's come to this point. Why think so much? Christina complained. You don't know Adam yet. Will he do something he is not sure of? Have you forgotten that before, because he had a bad premonition, he dared to directly block the critically ill patients from entering the hospital? Later, it was proved that his approach was correct. If it were you, would you dare to imagine it? Are you really sure? Liz looked at Adam speechlessly. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm 95% sure. Adam smiled and said, I believe in my hands and my brain. The worst case scenario is that I'll just ask Dr. Sloan to save me and get slapped in the face. There's nothing to worry about. Is it okay now? Any other questions? Liz shook her head. Scalpel. Adam stretched out his hand. Liz handed him the scalpel. The three of them performed plastic surgery in the morgue. Adam was the main surgeon, Christina was the assistant, and Liz was the nurse. P.S. There's another chapter to come. Chapter 592. This is not plastic surgery. This is a slap in the face. Medical center. Elevator. This isn't your fault. Mark Sloan reached out to pat Dr. Shept, but was passed by. Dr. Shept said nothing and walked away, leaving Mark's hand suspended in midair. Dr. Sloan. Liz came over and called. What? Mark frowned. Being rejected by his best friend really made him feel bad. Jack's Leo disease plastic surgery, Liz reminded. Oh, Mark was startled, then nodded and said, I understand. Go and prepare. I will get the family's consent to perform plastic surgery on Jack so that he can appear at the funeral with a better appearance. No, Liz smiled bitterly. Dr. Duncan has obtained Jack's parents' consent to perform plastic surgery on Jack. What? Mark's face changed. Nonsense. Where are they? The morgue. Liz took Mark there, and as they walked, she reminded him, Dr. Duncan did a good job. Once you confirm, you can notify the family to come and see. Plastic surgery is not that simple. Mark walked into the morgue with a cold face, and then saw Adam smiling at him. Just as he was about to scold him, he saw Jack lying on the morgue table out of the corner of his eye. The words were immediately stuck in his throat. Jack at this time was exactly the same as the sketch Adam had drawn before. The sutures that were almost invisible made his scalp numb. After the huge shock from seeing Adam's sketch before, the fear that he was unwilling to admit in his heart flashed through his mind and really emerged in his mind. This kid is so scary. Is he really an intern? At this moment, he felt how others looked at him at the time. Dr. Sloan, please give me some advice. Adam smiled and said, this is also my first time to do plastic surgery. Although it is easier to die, there must be some shortcomings. You are an expert in this field. Teach us more so that Jack can appear in front of his parents in the most perfect image to comfort the living. Liz and Christina's mouths twitched. This was the first time they saw Adam so aggressive. However, seeing that the face of Mark Sloan, a famous plastic surgeon on the East Coast, turned black and was speechless, they couldn't help but put themselves in the shoes of an intern. Then they had to sigh in their hearts. It's great. Well done. Not bad. Mark Sloan suppressed his MMP, adjusted his emotions again and again, and really asked questions and criticized as a mentor. He still didn't believe it. He is the top plastic surgeon on the East Coast. How could he not stump an intern? Then his face turned even darker. For this case, whether in theory or practice, he could not stump Adam at all. Dr. Sloan, do you have any other advice? Adam smiled and said, if not, then we will go and call Jack's parents over. That's it. Mark said this and left. He really couldn't find fault with Adam. Staying any longer would only bring humiliation upon himself. Adam Duncan, I will remember you. When he reached the door, Mark paused and turned back to look at Adam deeply. Dr. Sloan, you also gave me a very impressive lesson today. Adam smiled in response. After Mark left, OMG, Liz exclaimed, Adam, you actually beat a top doctor, and in plastic surgery. This is too exaggerated. It's just a single case. Adam waved his hand modestly. If it is expanded to the entire plastic surgery, I am definitely not sure that I can beat him. I still need to work hard enough. Come on, Liz shouted speechlessly. Of course I know this. No, have you really had this idea? Do you still want to beat him in the entire field of plastic surgery? You always have to have a dream. Adam smiled and said, what if it comes true? Besides, it doesn't look difficult, right? Liz only felt that Adam's smile at this moment was so annoying, and she understood what the Versailles smile was without any instruction. Adam, something is wrong with you. Christina was calmer, touching her chin and looking at Adam. What do you mean? Adam looked at her. You are usually very humble, Christina analyzed. Even when Dr. Bailey, the resident, confronted you, you listened obediently. Why did you confront an attending physician, a famous doctor at that? It's totally unlike you. I wanted to be humble too. Adam spread his hands and said, but he didn't give me a chance. Well, Dr. Bailey never targets individuals no matter what, but I think he is targeting me and making things difficult for me. The most important thing is that I don't like him as a person. Oh, Christina pouted and said, I didn't realize that you are still a passionate person. I understand. Liz suddenly realized, people of the same kind repel each other. You and Dr. Sloan are both playboys, so you don't get along with each other, just like you and Alex at the beginning. Really? Christina's eyes lit up. People often have their own shadows and the people they hate. Adam is a playboy, And Mark is obviously so too, and he is even more overly fickle to his best friend's wife. Adam, are you worried that you will become like this one day? I won't do such a tasteless thing, believe me. I have encountered such opportunities many times, but I have never succumbed to my hormones. Adam shook his head and laughed. I know better than you what can be done and what cannot be done. Are you afraid that you will become like him? Haha. I have never worried about such things. Self-destructive tendencies and morbid psychology are as ridiculous as committing crimes after being drunk. If you are really drunk, you will be incapable. How can you have the ability to commit crimes? If you really have self-destructive tendencies, why don't you find a place to destroy yourself? You have to destroy the life of your good friend while enjoying yourself? They are all excuses. I didn't want to talk about things like character. I lived in peace and learned a few techniques from him professionally, but he targeted me personally and broke his promise. Anyway, I don't plan to be a plastic surgeon in the future, and he is not a doctor here. When he leaves, everything will return to dust and earth. It is estimated that it will be difficult to see him again in the future. I can't always remember such trivial things, right? He is not Sheldon, who can keep the blacklist for decades since childhood and never forget it for the rest of his life. Adam can easily solve any problem that can be solved easily. Sheldon doesn't have the ability, but Adam does. Liz and Christina were speechless. Why do you have to remember this? Didn't you say you didn't care? And you said you're not Betty. Okay, let's go call Jack's parents over. Adam ended the topic. He looks handsome, very calm. Jack's mother reached out and touched Jack's face that was no longer ugly after plastic surgery, and said with emotion. Jack's father reached out and hugged his wife, and thanked Adam and the other two repeatedly. Thank you, you're welcome. Adam smiled. Chapter 593. Please get out. Medical Center. Emergency room. Liz, what are you doing here? Adam was surprised to see Liz, who was wearing a surgical gown, waiting outside the emergency room. I don't know. Someone called me. Liz spread her hands. Carol. Adam looked at the emergency nurse. Dr. Duncan, an ambulance will be here soon. Nurse Carol immediately explained. The patient is a 35-year-old male with difficulty breathing and a rapid and irregular pulse. The medical record shows that he has acute dysrhythmia and congestive heart failure. He is a patient of Dr. Burke. OMG, Liz exclaimed. It's Danny. Yes, Nurse Carol nodded. The patient's name is Danny. The Danny who is waiting for a heart transplant? Adam looked at Liz. Yeah, Liz nodded heavily and said worriedly. The last time he came here to wait for a heart transplant, I was the one who was in charge of his bed. Unfortunately, he didn't get that heart in the end. Are you okay? Adam frowned. What? Liz was in the trance. I'm saying I'll take over this patient. Adam kindly reminded. You're obviously not suitable to be his attending physician in your condition. No, Liz shouted. He's my patient. I can take good care of him. Are you sure? Adam looked at her deeply. Your emotions are no longer the normal attitude of a doctor towards a patient. This is not good for you or the patient. I can do it. Liz looked at Adam firmly. Okay. Adam shrugged. I'm just kind-hearted. If you think you can do it, then do it. I don't need this heart transplant, and I don't want to be shot in the head with a mace. What mace shot in the head? Liz first breathed a sigh of relief, then asked in confusion. It's a joke. You don't understand. Adam smiled. Adam knew this patient named Danny, who looked exactly like Negan, the big boss in the peak period of The Walking Dead. It was the hot and coquettish man who shot Glenn, the takeaway boy, in the head with a baseball bat with iron wire. Glenn, the delivery boy, is also really miserable. He was tortured by his roommate Sheldon and collapsed and ran away. But he still couldn't escape this disaster in the end. But Adam guessed that if he could choose, whether to be shot in the head by a mace or to be tormented by Sheldon, Glenn, the delivery boy, would probably be really entangled. 4 or 6. Choosing to be shot in the head by a mace is 6. I don't know if Leonard and Sheldon recognized him when they watched The Walking Dead in the future. Sheldon probably didn't care. But Leonard must be grateful to him and regret not listening to his repeated advice. Because when Leonard came to see the room, he happened to run into Glenn, the delivery boy, fleeing Sheldon's apartment. After knowing Leonard's purpose, he repeatedly advised, Run, run as fast as you can, as far as you can. If Leonard had listened at the time, there would not have been decades of torture. But it's hard to say. After all, Leonard is suspected of having a hidden attribute. Although he looked very painful on the surface, only Leonard knew whether he was happy or relieved inside. Just as Adam was thinking about it, the ambulance came. "It's really Danny." Liz hurried over and said, "What treatment was done on the scene?" "Before I handed it over to you, he was my patient." The emergency doctor who came with him was very unhappy with Liz's attitude. "I know him," Liz retorted without showing any weakness. "He is at the top of the heart transplant list. He is a patient of our surgery department. Dr. Burke will be here soon. You'd better hand him over now." "What treatment was done on the scene?" "He was injected with 40 units of urinary tract agent and 6 units of adenosine." When the emergency doctor heard Dr. Burke's name, although he was still unhappy with Liz's attitude, he could only answer and hand over at the same time. "What's the situation?" Dr. Burke came over. "It's Danny," Liz said anxiously. "The heart rate is very chaotic and the heart is failing." Dr. Burke was doing the examination. "Bisoprolol can reduce the mortality rate," Liz said anxiously. "You can try antihypertensive drugs or digoxin." "Yes, give him an injection of digoxin." "Wait." Dr. Burke waved his hand to interrupt the nurse's action and looked at Liz with a cold face. "Dr. Stevenson, he is my patient. I know his condition. He can hold on. There must be something else we can do." Liz took a deep breath. "What we can do now is to send him to the intensive care unit to observe whether his heart can stabilize," Dr. Burke said. "I will be his ward doctor. I will take good care of him," Liz volunteered. "No." Dr. Burke glanced at her and said to Adam on the side, "Dr. Duncan, you take care of Danny." "What?" Liz said excitedly. "I can do it. I was his attending physician last time." "Dr. Stevenson," Dr. Burke said in a deep voice, "are you questioning my decision?" "No." Liz was still rational, so she dared not answer. She could only look at Dr. Burke pleadingly. "I just want to have a beginning and an end, and get to know Danny better. We are a doctor-patient relationship, not a love relationship," Dr. Burke reminded. "We should do what is best for the patient. Why do we need a beginning and an end? Besides, how many people can have a beginning and an end in love now?" "Do you think you are better than Dr. Duncan?" "No." Liz's face turned red. "Any other questions?" Dr. Burke looked at her indifferently. "No." Liz was very unwilling. "Danny has been my patient for many years." Dr. Burke looked at Adam. "I see." Adam smiled and said, "I'll pay more attention to him." "Well, I trust you to do your job." Dr. Burke nodded. "Iku." "Liz, don't you have anything else to do?" Adam looked at Liz, who was busy running around, and shook his head. "I'm fine." Liz looked at the unconscious Danny infatuatedly and said without turning her head, "Dr. Bailey is now on maternity leave. The interns under her are like wild horses that have broken free from their reins. They all look for their own surgeries to do, blatantly avoiding Xuni, who is temporarily in charge of them, and Xuni, who is warm-hearted, can't control them at all. It's so unfair," Liz murmured. "What?" Adam was puzzled. "We treat idiots every day, cure them, and send them away, no matter if they deserve it or not." Liz shook her head and smiled bitterly. "But Danny, he is a good man with a bad heart, and we can only wait and wait, and we don't know if we can wait for a good heart that suits him. Nikki, help me keep an eye on it. In the future, without the permission of Dr. Burke and me, Dr. Stevenson is not allowed to come in." Adam turned around and told the nurse. "Yes, Dr. Duncan." The nurse nodded. "What?" Liz was stunned and looked at Adam in disbelief. "Dr. Stevenson, did you hear it?" Adam said expressionlessly. "This is the patient assigned to me by Dr. Burke. He is not your patient, and you are not a family member of the patient. You are not qualified to stand here. Please get out. P.S. Thanks for the reward from the defective mobile phone." If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 594. I Don't Agree. Medical Center. Iku. At Adam's insistence, Liz left angrily. After a while, Meredith and several others came over. "Adam, what's going on?" Meredith asked puzzledly. "How did it get like this?" "What did you hear?" Adam said non-committally. "You kicked Liz out and didn't allow her to get close to the patient." George was very angry. "Do you know how bad this affects her?" "Then do you know what she did?" Adam asked back. "She did what?" George was confronted by Adam and his momentum was gone. "She has developed feelings for the patient, Danny." Adam shook his head and said, "This kind of feeling has seriously affected her professional judgment as a doctor. This is very dangerous." When the patient was first sent in, she said 3 plans in a row, and she wanted to save the patient immediately. It seems that it can indeed reduce the patient's mortality rate, but that is just a theory in the book. The truly safe and appropriate plan is just to wait patiently. She lost her calmness and professionalism, and behaved like a patient's family member who knows a little medical knowledge. Christina commented, "As a doctor, the last thing you want to encounter is patients and their families who are half-baked and confused." This situation is becoming more and more frequent with the explosion of online information. Everyone can search online to find out what their condition looks like. Those who have done a lot of homework can explain it clearly, which makes them unable to help but raise various questions about the doctor's diagnosis and treatment. In this case, doctors need to put more energy into dealing with the professional questions of patients and their families, and many times, the information obtained on the internet is specious, or even simply wrong. If every patient and family member does this, the workload of medical staff will be greatly increased. Repeating medical common sense over and over again will make everyone annoyed. And if this is the case, debating eloquence will also be an important compulsory course for doctors in the future. Otherwise, if you can't win the argument with patients and their families, how can you proceed to the next step of treatment? But a truly good doctor may not have such good eloquence and patience to accompany patients' families to explain and debate medical common sense over and over again. People who have taught children homework know that it is not easy to be a tutor. Sometimes you think something is very simple, but you say it over and over again, but the child just doesn't understand and looks confused. At this time, if the child keeps asking some weird and unreasonable questions, it will definitely annoy the parents. If the parents have a bad temper, they will beat the child first, regardless of whether it rains or not. Doctors are not parents, so they cannot vent their irritability and can only bear it. It is conceivable that they are disgusted with such things. Adam was impressed that he once asked his sister a medical question in his previous life. He had searched Baidu beforehand and wanted to consult a professional. Unexpectedly, the sister who always had the best temper, "Well, my dear sister," said impatiently this time, "where did you hear that?" After Adam answered that he searched Baidu online, Adam's sister said angrily, "It's not like that at all." Afterwards, Adam realized that his sister had answered this question countless times at work, and he got angry when he heard it. "Yes," Adam said in a deep voice, "the key is that she doesn't have enough professional level. She is just an intern. She is so confused that she wants to use all the treatment plans she can think of on the patient. Isn't this nonsense? Dr. Burke assigned the patient to me. Now I am his attending physician, and I need to be responsible for him. I don't want to be in an emergency. When I arrive, Liz has already done the treatment she thinks she should do in advance. What if she is wrong? Not that bad, right?" George hesitated. "Not that bad?" Adam sneered. "You may not know that Liz, who used to treat other patients very lovingly, now actually said, 'We treat idiots every day, cure them, and send them away, regardless of whether they deserve it or not. Danny is a good person, and we can only wait.'" Hiss. "No way, impossible." Christina and the other 2 couldn't believe it. "That's exactly what she said." Adam looked at them. "Now you know how exaggerated Liz is, right?" "I'm not surprised at all if Liz does anything like this. If it were you, would you be willing to let her get close to your patients?" "How could this happen?" Meredith had a look of doubt on her face. "I remember that Liz was only the attending physician for a patient once, right?" "This Danny is very good at flirting," Christina recalled. "It seems that he flirted with Liz as soon as they met last time. He is a very charming man. He's still a patient, and he has a melancholic nature." Adam shook his head and said, People like Liz are particularly susceptible to this. It's normal for them to fall in love at first sight. Let's go and persuade her. Meredith sighed. Go if you want. Christina was not interested in participating. I think I heard the name Liz. At this time, Danny, a patient who had been in a coma, woke up slowly. A smile appeared on his lips, and he looked around at everyone. Hey, isn't Liz here? I thought I could see her as soon as I opened my eyes. Meredith looked at everyone, as if to say, no wonder Liz is so exaggerated. She is so sick, but she is still so good at flirting. I can't stand it. I am Dr. Adam Duncan. Adam stepped forward and examined him. Dr. Burke arranged for you to be your ward doctor. Where is Dr. Stevenson? Danny forced a smile. I remember that she was my ward doctor when I came here last time. She has something to do. Meredith couldn't help but answer. I am a nostalgic person. Danny said with difficulty. I hope Dr. Stevenson can be my ward doctor. It's not against you, Dr. Duncan. It doesn't matter. Adam nodded. I will inform Dr. Burke. The specific arrangements will depend on Dr. Burke. Dr. Burke arrived soon. Danny is not only an old patient of Dr. Burke, but also has a wealthy family. He deserves Dr. Burke to provide the best medical services. Danny, after listening to the request, Dr. Burke advised, Dr. Duncan is the best intern in our hospital. I dare say he is the best intern in the world. It will be very good for you to have him take care of your condition. Dr. Stevenson is too emotional. This is not good for you or her. I know. Danny smiled weakly. I know all this, but I don't care. I have waited for so long and still haven't waited for a heart that suits me. I don't have much hope for this. I just hope that Dr. Stevenson can take care of me now. Dr. Burke? Is that okay? How about this? Dr. Burke looked at him and pondered. I'll let Dr. Duncan and Dr. Stevenson be your attending physicians together. How about that? I don't agree. Adam interrupted without waiting for the patient to nod. Chapter 595. This is called professionalism. Medical Center. Equal ward. I don't agree. Adam expressed his opinion decisively. You don't agree? Dr. Burke was stunned and looked a little unhappy. Yes, Adam said seriously. I can be the resident doctor or not. It doesn't matter, but I will never be Mr. Dugat's resident doctor together with Dr. Stevenson. And I also suggest that Dr. Burke should not agree with Dr. Stevenson to be Mr. Dugat's resident doctor. Mr. Dugat is a patient, and we are doctors. This is a medical center, a well-known regular teaching hospital, not a game place for cosplaying with sexy doctors and handsome patients. Mr. Dugat, it's not against you personally, but please respect our identity as a doctor. When you are discharged from the hospital, you can make any appointment with Dr. Stevenson. But here, please don't do this. Is it that serious? Danny Dugat smiled bitterly. Dr. Duncan is right. Dr. Burke's face also became serious. According to the hospital's regulations, doctors cannot fall in love with patients. Danny, if I let Dr. Stevenson be your attending physician, can you do it? What will happen if you violate it? Danny smiled bitterly. Dr. Stevenson will be directly dismissed if he violates the hospital regulations. Dr. Burke looked at Danny and said seriously, originally, if no one said anything, as an old friend, Dr. Burke would also be happy to see his old friend happy, and would turn a blind eye to such things. But now that Adam has pointed it out, he can no longer turn a blind eye. In the United States, which is such an open world of American dramas, teacher-student love and doctor-patient love are still not allowed, because this is to protect the students and patients who are the weaker party. Imagine, once there are no such regulations, if a teacher takes a fancy to a student and threatens or tempts with academic performance and other things, what will students who are not yet fully mature do? You know, even Penny, the head of the high school bully, was taken to participate in lesbian activities by their lesbian teacher with the temptation of A grades. The doctor-patient relationship is similar. Patients who come to see a doctor are already at a low point in their lives. When they look at the doctor who treats them, they will infinitely magnify the charm of the doctor and easily develop a strong liking for him. But this state is not normal and rational. Not to mention professionals like psychologists who can see through the patient's personality defects. Once they have an idea, they can easily use their professional knowledge to poo-ah patients. If there is no restriction, The consequences will be very terrible. In American TV series and movies, many villains are psychologists, not without reason. Even ordinary doctors, such as surgeons like Liz, will become very irrational and unprofessional when they fall in love with their patients. In an emergency, she will most likely ignore any rules in order to keep her lover alive. Of course, Dr. House next door often ignores the rules and does everything he can to save the patient. But that's because Dr. House has enough bugs in his professional level. Breaking the rules can save the patient. That's how awesome it is. Liz is just an ordinary person. Adam has observed for a long time that she does not have the aura of the protagonist. At most, she is a vase supporting role. Where does she get the cheats to open? If she really imitated Dr. House next door, she would definitely end up with nothing. Not only could she not save the person she wanted to save, but she would also most likely hurt other people. This was the reason why Adam was so tough. It seems that Dr. Stevenson can no longer be my attending physician. Danny shook his head and smiled bitterly, then looked at Adam and said politely, Dr. Duncan, do you have the honor to continue to be my attending physician? Obviously, he was not ready to give up his love at first sight with Liz. If someone else was told this by Adam, Adam would definitely be upset. But Adam did not see such negative emotions in him, and he seemed very cultured. Of course, everyone knows how hypocritical the gentlemanly culture of Westerners is. It is also possible that after he calmed down, he rationally considered the weight of Dr. Burke's words that Adam is the best intern in the United States and the world, and made a rational choice. After all, compared to talking about love, he wants to live more now. It depends on Dr. Burke's arrangement. Adam didn't comment, but made it clear, and if I continue to be in charge, you won't be able to see Dr. Stevenson in the hospital. I don't want anything to happen. After all, people in love are not rational. Danny, this is the professional attitude of the best interns. Dr. Burke asked, what do you say? Do I have any other choice? Danny smiled bitterly. I just want to leave here as soon as possible, and then walk into this hospital again as an ordinary person and take the beautiful Dr. Stevenson away. Then I think we should be able to get Dr. Duncan's blessing, right? At this point, he looked at Adam deeply. Of course, Adam looked at him frankly. Just kidding. He didn't stop because he regarded Liz as a forbidden delicacy or because he was jealous. Although Liz was a big blonde with long legs, her appearance was not high. Not to mention her personality and relationship with colleagues in the hospital, which were 100% deductions, which were not Adam's cup of tea at all. But Adam could understand Danny's thoughts. Even though he has great personal charm and wealth, judging from his flirting style, he must have been a playboy who had seen all kinds of women. But those good days are gone. He has difficulty walking now, let alone doing strenuous exercise. At the lowest point in his life, he is naturally like Iron Man with a big hole in his chest. He no longer pursues vulgar and low-level things, but appreciates spiritual communication more. There is no way. He is powerless. Just imagine, at this time, how attractive is a beautiful doctor in the hospital who has a good impression of him and is the doctor who saved him. I am afraid that in his eyes, she is a saint who always shines behind her. How can Danny not care about her? Beep. The alarm of the monitor sounded. Atrial fibrillation. His heart is beating too fast. We have to slow it down, or the heart will fail. Let's try the electric shock method to restore the heart rate. Okay, inject 5 units of morphine. Adam glanced at Dr. Burke and saw him nod. He took the defibrillator from the nurse and said, Danny, we're going to let the current flow through your body. I hope the shock can restore your heart rate to normal. Will it hurt? Danny said weakly. It won't be pleasant anyway. Adam reminded. Are you ready? We're about to start. Get off my hands. When everyone stopped touching Danny, Adam pressed the electric shock button. No change. The nurse reminded. Increase to 100. Get off my hands. Adam ordered and pressed the defibrillator on Danny again. The heart rate has returned to normal. The nurse reminded. Very good. Dr. Burke nodded. Dr. Duncan is really amazing. Danny endured the pain from the electric shock and smiled tearfully. I've been in and out of various hospitals for years. Watching you perform rescue operations is like watching those experienced residents perform rescue operations calmly. It seems that my choice was right. Chapter 596 Miss. This is the men's room, medical center. After Danny's condition stabilized, Dr. Burke left and officially handed over the task of taking care of the bed to Adam. Then Adam was targeted by Liz, because she couldn't get into Danny's ward at all. Whether Adam was there or not, the nurses inside and outside the ward stared at her like a terrorist. Not to mention going into the ward to chat with Danny. Even if she wanted to look at Danny through the glass window and cry, she couldn't. When she got a little closer, a nurse came forward to stop her. She bet that the nurses had never executed the dean's orders so well. This made her very uncomfortable. When Danny's words reached her ears, the vague ambiguity between them took root in her heart in an instant, and it was growing vigorously. How could it be without the nourishment of sunshine and rain? Of course, Danny's condition was there, and she didn't plan to do anything. But it's always okay to meet in person, flirt with him, and stop the unbearable itch, right? But Adam got in the way and set this ruthless, shameless and unreasonable rule, not allowing her to get close at all. This was unacceptable to her. She couldn't handle the nurses, so she could only trace the source. But Adam made her speechless with just a few words. The reason was clear. Doctors and patients cannot fall in love. Adam did this for the good of both the patients and her. It is really good for everyone. How could she refute it? But sometimes, people's emotions make people unable to reason, not to mention that Liz herself is a very emotional person. So she couldn't convince Adam with reason, so she wanted to use small actions to make Adam agree. This trick was also learned from George. She didn't say anything, just followed Adam, stuck to Adam, and acted as Adam's shadow. Wherever Adam went, she went, hoping to make Adam unable to compromise. This is the men's bathroom. Adam couldn't help but remind him, if you don't let me see Danny, I will follow you all the time. Liz followed into the men's bathroom as if no one was around. A male doctor inside saw this scene and couldn't pee directly. He tied his pants awkwardly and left. Are you really not afraid of being fired? Adam glanced at her. I didn't do anything. Liz stood behind Adam with her arms crossed. Besides, I'm not Danny's doctor now. The rule that doctors and patients can't fall in love doesn't apply to us. Why can't I even meet him? Because I don't trust you. Adam was not embarrassed by Liz, and he took care of his physiological needs. It's already like this. Why don't you trust me? Liz didn't expect Adam to be embarrassed at all, but she herself became embarrassed. Damn it. Isn't it said that when a man urinates, if someone is watching him, he can't urinate? Will it be very uncomfortable to hold it in? Her biggest hope is to use this to grind Adam into a low temper. But why is Adam so smooth? Because you don't deserve my trust. Adam sneered. Don't ask why again. Just look at what we are doing and you will know. Now you are so crazy. God knows what you can do. I promise I won't do anything. I just want to see Danny, Liz said sadly. I think you are still too idle. Adam smiled. But don't worry. You will be busy. Beep, beep. Before he finished speaking, Liz's pager rang. Damn it, what did you do? Liz took it out and saw that it was the nurse's station calling her. Her face changed. I didn't do anything. Adam washed his hands and smiled at Liz in the mirror. God is watching you. What did you do? And now I think the most important thing you should do is to respond to the call. Unless you don't want to do it anymore. Damn it. I forgot about your fans. Liz cursed and ran away with the pager. Doctors have to carry pagers 24 hours a day and respond to calls at any time. This is a basic requirement. Because it is related to human life, no one dares to neglect it. Therefore, Liz clearly guessed something, but she still had to rush over. Nurse station. Dr. Stevenson, this is yours. The nurse stacked a pile of medical records together and handed them to Liz, smiling and saying, please deal with it as soon as possible. There are many patients waiting over there. Liz glanced at it with one eye and her face turned black, because Christina had done all these before, all of which were dirty and tiring work such as rectal examination, abscess infection, diarrhea and vomiting, dead skin removal and catheter insertion. But that time, Christina was condescending and insulted the entire nurse group, which aroused the public outrage of the entire nurse group. What is it now? Is it a retaliation for her pestering Adam? It's too exaggerated. This is not my job. Liz resisted. "Aren't you an intern in a hospital?" the nurse asked. "Really? These jobs must be done by interns." "I think no one has more time than you. Dr. Stevenson, right?" "Yes." As soon as Dr. Bailey went on maternity leave, her interns went to the men's bathroom. "Who else has more free time than this?" another nurse complained in a low voice not far away. Liz was speechless. If she had known, she would not have followed Adam into the men's bathroom. She originally wanted to force Adam to compromise, but she forgot that this was stirring up a hornet's nest. Adam didn't explode, but Adam's nurse fans did. The nurses looked at Liz with contempt. The long legs of a blonde bear lingered in front of Dr. Duncan, looking like a slut, which was already an eyesore, especially since Dr. Duncan clearly rejected and despised her. Now, she went directly to the men's room with Dr. Duncan. "What do you want to do? Find an excuse to blatantly take advantage of Dr. Duncan? You wish. Have you asked us?" "What? Are you doing this for the patient named Danny? Who are you trying to fool? God knows if you are just pretending to be strong. This has been played in idol dramas. This Danny is probably just the legendary spare tire tool man. You are clearly trying to use this to add to the drama in front of Dr. Duncan. There are so many of us watching. How can we let you get away with it? Nothing to do, right? Then we will keep you busy." "Too cruel. Don't mess with Dr. Duncan. Dr. Stevenson is so pitiful." "Huh?" The nurses who realized it later sighed as they watched Liz busying around. One of the male nurses felt sorry for the big blonde Liz and said something for her, which was immediately side-glared by everyone. Then the male nurse changed his mind in an instant and showed his experience of survival in the wild vividly. There must be something hateful about pitiful people. Dr. Duncan did that for her own good. Why can't she understand? She had to pester Dr. Duncan. Now she's satisfied. Chapter 597. Only being single can make you stronger. The next day, medical center. Ward. "I heard that last night was very thrilling." Dr. Burke walked over and took a look at the updated medical records last night. "Yes." Danny smiled weakly. "My choice was indeed right, thanks to Dr. Duncan's rescue. Otherwise I would have gone to heaven now. Of course, I believe in the beauty of heaven. But obviously I don't want to go there right now." "Well done, Dr. Duncan." After reading the updated medical records, Dr. Burke expressed his affirmation and praise for Adam's rescue records last night. If any other intern was the attending physician, he would have been called directly in his sleep last night. Only someone with Adam's strength would have the confidence to rescue first and then consider whether to call him or not. With such an assistant, Dr. Burke had to admit that it was sometimes quite nice. Of course, there are pros and cons. The last time he was forced to stand by and watch as an assistant to Adam, it was not so pleasant. The situation is still not optimistic. Adam said, "Danny has acute pulmonary edema. I changed his congestive heart failure drugs and used a dual positive airway pressure ventilator. His condition has temporarily stabilized, but he needs a new heart, and he needs it as soon as possible." "A new heart," Danny said weakly. "I have been waiting for a year and a half, and I have failed several times." "How long can I wait this time?" "Very short, and you can't expect a small probability event," Adam suggested. "I suggest installing a left ventricular assist device, which is a battery-operated machine that can assist heart activity and help you gain 2 more years." "Yes." Dr. Burke nodded. "Dr. Duncan is right. We can't pin our hopes on small probability events. No one knows when the new heart you need will appear, so you need more time to wait." Organ transplantation is very particular about relationships and luck. Relationships are self-evident. Dr. House next door often snatches transplant organs that should belong to others. That's because the female dean is his admirer, and his successful experience every time he cheats also gives him enough face to let the female dean use her relationship to snatch transplant organs for him. But Danny obviously didn't have such connections. Although he should be wealthy, he was at most a multi-millionaire, definitely not a billionaire. Otherwise, he wouldn't have waited for a year and a half for a new heart. A truly wealthy person would have spent money or found connections to get a new heart that suits them. Why would he just wait there and die? As for Adam, the attending physician, he naturally had the ability to help Danny. But unfortunately, it didn't reach that point. Plus 0.01 life expectancy can be obtained by saving any patient in the emergency room. Adam wouldn't go to such lengths for Danny, not to mention wasting time, energy and money. In theory, this is also immoral and illegal. Danny is just an ordinary patient, not one of his own, and it's not worth his efforts. So, Danny can only hope for luck now, and a low probability of unlike luck requires enough time to accumulate to increase the probability. Battery operation? Danny said humorously, I knew you wanted to turn me into a robot. This is one of your evil plans to usurp the hospital, right? Haha. Dr. Burke smiled in agreement. No. Adam smiled and said, you should be more optimistic. Just think about it. Isn't your current situation similar to that of Tony Stark, the Iron Man? Both of them have batteries to drive their hearts. But this is just a turning point in your life. Your life may become more exciting, and you have an advantage over him in that you don't need to fight to the death. Complete the transformation in fear, and get rid of the control of the battery, today, or tomorrow. When you wake up, you may get good news, get a new heart, and be reborn. Now all you need to do is buy yourself more time. Oh, that's a good point. Danny smiled and said, although I don't know who this guy Iron Man is, I understand. Thank you, Dr. Duncan, but is there any risk in installing this battery and turning yourself into a robot? At this time, the live-action Iron Man movie had not yet come out. Iron Man, who was only a second-tier hero in Marvel Comics, was actually not known by many people, but just like Chinese characters often do not need to be arranged correctly, people can understand them. Danny understood what Adam meant. Of course there are certain risks, Dr. Burke explained. It will increase damage to platelets and bleeding. If you choose to install this auxiliary device, you will need to wait until the new heart is transplanted before you can leave the hospital so that you can be rescued at any time. Are there any other options? Danny smiled dryly. No. Adam shook his head. There are gains and losses. Nothing is perfect. At this moment, the most important thing is to survive first, and staying in the hospital all the time is not as boring as you think. We interns spend almost every day in the hospital, so that the hospital has to issue mandatory regulations, not allowing us to stay in the hospital all the time, and driving us out of the hospital. The key is to have a direction. During this period of hospitalization, you can find something suitable for you to do. As long as you put in the effort, time will pass quickly. Professor Hawking has Parkinson's disease and sits in a wheelchair. There is no hope of recovery. Speeches and Q&A can only be completed through a voice synthesizer. It does not hinder his will to travel through the stars and time and space, becoming an idol of many people, and living a fulfilling life. Illness can only trap a person's body, not a person's consciousness. Not to mention that you still have hope of recovery. Maybe when you achieve your set goals, your new heart will also come. Double happiness. Isn't such a future worth looking forward to? How can I compare with Professor Hawking? Danny laughed at himself first, then looked at Adam. But Dr. Duncan, you are right. This kind of double happiness in the future is indeed worth looking forward to. But before making a decision, can I meet Liz first? Why? Without waiting for Dr. Burke to nod, Adam asked directly. Because I want to see her, so that I will have more hope and motivation to live. Danny was stunned. I don't recommend you to do this. Adam shook his head. Do you have the courage to persist just for a woman you fall in love with at first sight? This is not enough. After this kind of operation, it may take 1 day, or 1 year or 2 years to see hope. After such a long wait, you only rely on the love at first sight to maintain the relationship. We all know that feelings, especially love at first sight, are completely caused by hormones, but your body simply does not allow it. Now you put your hope and motivation on this kind of feeling. Over time, you will be very painful and unable to persist, because a strong man is trapped in a weak body and can only watch but not move. It is definitely a terrible torture. So when you decide to kill time, you should abandon hormones and focus on higher-level spiritual pursuits. Only in this way can you calmly spend these difficult waiting times. Don't worry, you can do it. After being single for a long time, your hormones will be dull. Haven't you seen many people who have never fallen in love or married for their whole lives and are fine? There is still science. We must believe in science. Danny, Dr. Burke. Chapter 598, 37 Death Line, Medical Center. Ward. Dr. Duncan, you. Danny was speechless and smiled bitterly, but he knew that what Adam said was right. Before he got sick, he was a very strong man and did a lot of things that broke the rules. And these extraordinary things were all beautiful memories after he got sick. After a year and a half of suffering, he was on the verge of collapse. Originally, he thought that he was the only one who understood the pain of a strong man trapped, but he didn't expect that this young and handsome Dr. Duncan understood it better than him. He had imagined this situation for him in advance. What else can he say? Flirting with beautiful female doctors is just his nature, and staying alive is his greatest instinct. For some reason, he suddenly rekindled hope that he would wait for his new heart one day in the future. The future that Adam described, peacefully going through the tormenting wait and having double happiness, is indeed too beautiful. As your attending physician, I'm just telling you what I think. Adam smiled and said, "It's up to you to decide the specific decision." I agree with Dr. Duncan. Dr. Burke took a deep look at Adam, the intern who took away the glory of his attending physician, and nodded. "Only by staying alive can we talk about other things. Danny, as long as you are strong enough in your heart, you can have a future." "Thank you." Danny thanked him sincerely. "I am willing to do this operation, but I have one condition." "Do you still want to see Dr. Stevenson?" Dr. Burke glanced at Adam. Adam shrugged, indicating that he had said everything he should say, and it didn't matter what Danny decided. "No." Danny shook his head and smiled. "Dr. Duncan is right. I am not suitable for a relationship now. After all, without a heart, how can there be love? I am willing to wait and make an appointment with the best leads in the future with the best of myself. Now, I just don't want to have surgery today." "Have you heard of that legend too?" Adam and Dr. Burke were startled, and then quickly reacted. "There is such a legend in the American hospital and the American TV world. Every day, the number of patients who die on the operating table in the hospital is either less than 3, or 3 or 7. That is to say, as long as more than 3 patients die on the operating table in the hospital that day, it will not stop at 4, 5, or 6, but will definitely soar to 7. And now, just a short while after the medical center started working, 4 patients have already died on the operating table. I believe in science." Danny smiled, "but I also believe in God." This was told by the staff in the morgue. Adam explained, "It's just that the probability is higher. Not necessarily inevitable." "I know." Danny smiled bitterly, "but don't forget, my luck has always been bad. Bad luck meets bad timing. Do you think I dare to go on the operating table today?" "I'm sorry, Danny." Dr. Burke shook his head and said, "Your body does not allow you to delay for so long. You must have surgery today." Danny looked at Adam. Adam nodded. "Well, okay." Danny could only agree in the end. "If God really wants to see me, I can't resist the Lord's call. If God doesn't want to see me, then when I wake up again, I will live well like you said, Dr. Duncan." "Okay, keep this optimistic attitude. You will never lose." Adam smiled. "Dr. Duncan, help Danny prepare. We are ready to go into the operating room." Dr. Burke also smiled. This death number of either 3 or 7 is somewhat superstitious, but many knowledgeable doctors, even top doctors, believe in this kind of thing. For example, Dr. Burke only wears the surgical caps that he is most comfortable with. Of course, the patient's mentality before entering the operating room is also very particular. If a patient does not have the motivation or confidence to live, then the patient's mortality rate will be much higher. On the contrary, the success rate of the operation will be much higher. This involves the influence of the spirit on the physical state, which is actually quite metaphysical. Dr. Burke was naturally very satisfied to see that Danny was very optimistic. The preparations were carried out in an orderly manner. The nurse stationed in front of the operating board. "Adam, this is for you." Dr. Montgomery handed Adam a cup of hot cocoa. "This is our tradition. 4 operations today. 4 patients died. I heard that you will be in the operating room soon. I think we all need a little amulet." Hot cocoa is a talisman. Adam was surprised. Hey, hey. Dr. Montgomery waved and reminded, "Don't question the cocoa." Okay. Although Adam didn't believe in this thing, He saw that Dr. Montgomery was talking seriously and had good intentions, so he naturally wouldn't refuse rudely. He raised the hot cocoa in his hand and smiled. "Thank you." "Go." Dr. Montgomery smiled. Since Adam treated her kudzu rash last time, her attitude towards Adam has become much closer. It will no longer be like her husband, Dr. Shept, who calls Adam when there is something wrong and Duncan when there is nothing wrong. Meredith. Adam took a few steps and heard Dr. Montgomery's voice behind him, and he was calling his rival, so he couldn't help but turn around and look. Dr. Montgomery handed a cup of hot cocoa to his rival Meredith. Meredith would have to go into the operating room soon. Was he giving the amulet to his rival? "Nikki, here you go." Adam handed the hot cocoa to the nurse. He was now very careful about the food given to him by others, and would not eat it if he could. And he just saw Dr. Montgomery give the same hot cocoa to his rival. Adam would not drink it even more. "Thank you, Dr. Duncan." Nurse Nikki took the hot drink under the envious eyes of her companions and thanked him happily. Adam. A tall figure ran over. Adam turned and left. When he passed the corner, he saw Meredith throwing the hot cocoa directly into the trash can, and he couldn't help but smile knowingly. "Meredith, help me stop Adam." The tall figure followed closely and shouted loudly, "What did you do to Liz again?" Meredith stretched out her hand to stop Adam, saying helplessly, "Isn't that the wrong question?" Adam complained, "She's always the one looking for trouble. Have you ever seen me looking for trouble with her? Listen to what she says first." Meredith was also speechless, but she still tried to smooth things over. Adam stopped and gave face to his daughter and guardian, Alice Gray, who was now his biggest cheat. Liz ran all the way, magnificently, and when she came to the front, she held the wall and panted, which made Adam look very interested. "What are you doing?" Liz panted for a while and shouted. "I didn't do anything." Adam spread his hands. "Are you going to operate on Danny today?" Liz said in shock and anger. "Don't you know the legend of the death number?" "I know," Adam said speechlessly, "but I know that if Danny doesn't do it today, then there is no need to gamble on luck. He will definitely go to the morgue today." "Is the condition so serious?" Liz's face changed drastically. She was isolated by Adam's order, and then because of her obsession with Adam, the nurses who were dissatisfied with her collectively targeted her and called her at every turn, making her unable to stop for a moment. Just now, she was busy passing by the operating board and saw Danny's operation schedule written on it, and then she learned the news. Chapter 599, Venomous Adam Medical Center. "So, don't waste my time here," Adam said, and was about to leave. "Wait," Liz shouted, "I want to see Danny before he goes into the operating room." "No need." Adam waved his hand and told Liz about the conversation he had with Danny before. "Only by being single can you become stronger." "How dare you?" Liz was dumbfounded at first, and then she was extremely angry. "According to what you said, if Danny can't wait for a new heart, he can't see me for a year or even 2 years? I suggest he do this." Adam shrugged and said, "After all, you will definitely flirt as soon as you meet, and you will be itchy as soon as you flirt. For a man who is temporarily incapable, it will be very painful to do this for a long time. It's better not to see each other and end it all." "Is this what you came up with?" Meredith looked at Adam as if he was looking at the devil. "What's the problem?" Adam said with a smile. "You've been saying that you want to abstain from sex recently, and you've been knitting sweaters instead of drinking at the bar. You said that after drinking, everything looks sexy and lube-like. Actually, if you ask me, you're just taking off your pants to fart, which is unnecessary. If you really want to abstain from sex, don't go to the bar. In addition to working and doing surgeries, you go to your mother to learn more techniques and improve your theoretical knowledge after get off work. When you put all your time and energy into this, why do you need to rely on knitting sweaters to abstain from sex?" "Knitting sweaters can improve the flexibility of your hands and make it easier to do surgery," Meredith said awkwardly, "and I can't just work without any spare time, right?" "Why not?" Adam asked back. "When you and your mother are studying, it's not a spare time. You can spend more time with her, and I dare say that as long as you are willing to do this, Christina will definitely be willing to accompany you." "Isn't the main reason you go to the bar to chat with Christina?" Meredith was speechless. What could she say? She said this, but deep in her heart, she naturally still had some expectations for Yanu. How could she not go to the bar and only accompany her mother and Christina? Seeing through the truth but not saying it out loud, they are still good friends. Obviously, her friendship with Adam is on the verge of collapse. Don't change the subject. Talk about Danny. Liz couldn't help interrupting. Don't you believe in love? No, I do. Adam looked at the angry Liz. I just don't believe in love at first sight. No matter how you exaggerate and cover it up, you can't hide its essence of lusting for each other's body. Please, how many times have you met Danny? Now you are so crazy, swearing that there is some mysterious love at first sight between you and him. May I ask, besides a melancholy and handsome face and a humorous and witty eloquence, what else do you know about him? As long as you can say one thing, I will agree to let you meet him. Liz was stunned, her mouth open and speechless. It seems that there is no more. Adam smiled and said, sometimes men are more rational than women. Danny soon understood these truths and stopped being entangled in love. He knew that love is not the whole of life, and living is the truth. Meredith's mouth twitched and glared at Adam. The operation is about to start. Hurry up and prepare. How can this person's mouth be so poisonous, all poking at their hearts, so hateful? Adam smiled and left. Liz is a person who habitually likes to devote herself wholeheartedly, and many times it is inexplicable. Just like Alex before, he posted her photos all over the hospital, which gave her unprecedented humiliation and severely hit her professional dignity. Normal people would hate Alex to the bone, but she soon forgave him, and even after Alex was bombed by his brother, she still looked like she was deeply in love with him. She allowed Alex, who was beginning to be irritable, to insult her without complaint and took care of her attentively. This time, she fell in love with Danny because Danny flirted with her for no reason. She acted like she and Danny were in true love and wanted to get close to each other regardless of anything. You know, in order to become a surgeon, she, a girl from a trailer house, had to work so hard to get to this point. The reason why Liz was not in a good mood was that Adam heard later that Liz was really the movie version of Juno. When she was in high school, she accidentally got pregnant and gave birth to a daughter. Then, for a better future, she gave her daughter to someone else to raise. She used this as an example to convince the African American girl to follow her. Then, when the African American girl's mother found out, she went straight to the hospital. Liz said she was kind and she firmly believed that this was the right thing to do. Otherwise, raising a child would be trapped for a lifetime, and that would be it. The child is not as important as the future, and the future is not as important as the inexplicable love at first sight. Adam didn't want to think too much, but either Liz is a psychopath, or Liz is a real master. Danny is not short of money. Any normal person can see that. No one knows whether Liz has seduced Leonard's teacher and Rachel's younger sister Amy, who is in love with her ex-boyfriend's father, for the same purpose and consideration. Of course, Adam is more inclined to the first one. In front of the operating board, Liz is very nervous. I give up. Another one died. An intern who just walked out of the operating room shook his head and sighed. This is the fifth one, and there will probably be two more later. Meredith. Liz looked at Meredith, who was walking over. She died too. Meredith shook her head. This female patient can't stalk her ex-boyfriend anymore. This is the sixth one, Liz said fearfully. Now there is only Danny's surgery. Don't worry, Meredith comforted. It's only morning now. It's impossible for 7 people to die on the operating table in the morning. And the ones who performed the surgery on Danny were Dr. Burke and Adam. Although Adam is a very vicious guy, don't forget that he also has a nickname of Miracle Doctor. Yes, Liz said hopefully, Adam is a miracle doctor. He will definitely not let Danny die. Waiting is tormenting. Adam? Liz shouted tremblingly outside the operating room. He's fine. Adam walked out and looked at Liz speechlessly, but still told her the good news. Thank God, Liz shouted in surprise, opening her arms and trying to hug Adam. Adam dodged and didn't let Liz hug him. Since analyzing that Liz might have some mental problems, Adam decided to stay away from her. Liz directly bumped into Dr. Burke, who came out. Thank you, Dr. Burke. Liz let go awkwardly. Dr. Duncan, please take care of Danny's follow-up care. Dr. Burke nodded to the two of them, took off his most comfortable yellow surgical cap, swung it leisurely between his fingers, and left. Obviously, this lucky little yellow cap has further verified its luck on this special day. As its owner, Dr. Burke is very happy. P.S. Thanks to 98 DACA, book friend 1611060524078890, substandard mobile phone, and book friend 202011241258000818 for their rewards. Chapter 600, Broken Wing Angel Medical Center. Emergency room. After Adam told the nurse to take care of Danny, he couldn't wait to come here. Actually, taking Danny's case, he felt that he was at a loss at first, because Adam needed to be distracted to take care of him during the long hospitalization. But Danny's long-term case was also a challenge that Adam had never encountered before, so he just took it as an experience. And there were caring nurses to help him, so he didn't need to be stuck there. If there was a problem, the nurse would call him first. More importantly, once there was a problem with Danny's case, he was called. Almost always in a life-saving situation. Adam liked saving lives the most. Emergency room. Dr. Duncan, you're just in time. Nurse Carol ran into Adam and said happily, "Do you speak Russian?" "Yes." Adam nodded. "Are there any Russian patients coming?" "Well, come with me." Nurse Carol took Adam away. In the treatment room, a little girl, about 4 or 5 years old, like an angel, was lying on the bed, blinking her ignorant eyes at Adam and Carol. "Dr. Duncan, this is Tatiana. She has a fever and cough. After her mother brought her here, she passed away in a blink of an eye. I haven't been able to contact her since then. We don't speak Russian and can't communicate with her." Nurse Carol introduced. "Have you taken her temperature?" Adam asked. "It's 37.8 degrees. Nurse Carol, Tatiana, I'm Dr. Duncan. What's wrong with you?" Adam communicated with her in Russian while examining her. "You can talk." Tatiana smiled happily and stretched out her little hand to touch the ID card on Adam's wide coat. "Yes." Adam leaned over to let her touch it, then kept pressing her body and smiled. "Is it here that you feel uncomfortable?" "Here? No." Tatiana shook her head, stretched out her hand and pulled Adam's hand to touch her forehead. "Uncomfortable? How long have you been feeling uncomfortable like this?" Adam looked at Tatiana. "A long time." Tatiana thought for a while. "Then was it your mother who brought you here?" Adam asked. "No." Tatiana shook her head first, then nodded, "But she told some uncles and aunts that she is my mother from now on, and asked me to call her mother." "Is this new mother good to you?" Adam asked. "Yes." Tatiana nodded gently. "She was very happy at first, but after flying here, I felt uncomfortable. After seeing the doctor, she became unhappy and cried very sadly every day. It should be adopted." Adam said to Nurse Carol, "Do a blood test on Tatiana to see what kind of disease makes a mother who wants a child so cruelly throw away the angel daughter she adopted from abroad with great effort." "Okay." Nurse Carol nodded. "Tatiana, the nurse sister is going to draw some blood for you. It will be a little painful. Please bear it." Adam comforted her in Russian. "Yes." Tatiana nodded obediently. But the more she did this, the more Adam felt sorry for her. Because such a well-behaved, beautiful and lovely daughter, any person would love her. How could he bear to throw her in the hospital? The biggest possibility is that Tatiana has an incurable disease. The woman who adopted her could not accept the endless follow-up treatment and did not want to bear the responsibility. "Tatiana, do you remember the name of the hospital you went to?" Adam asked. "What is your new mother's name? Where do you live?" Tatiana shook her head. "It doesn't matter." Adam touched her forehead, picked up the phone and called his assistant Ada first. "Ada, send someone to buy a toy like a bear that a 4 or 5-year-old girl likes, and send it to the hospital as soon as possible." Cuteness is justice. Adam couldn't help but care about her a little more. Then he called Kate again. "Officer Beckett, please help me investigate someone. Tatiana, a 4 or 5-year-old girl from Russia, who was just adopted by someone in the United States and is now thrown in the hospital by the adoptive family. Find out who this adoptive family is." "Damn it, who is so cruel?" "Immediately. Wait for my call." Kate on the other end of the phone said nothing. Tatiana looked at Adam, and when Adam put down the phone, she said the most unbearable words in the most innocent tone, "Does the new mother not want me?" Adam was speechless for a moment. If he said no, Even if he found this new mother, she would probably not be Tatiana's mother anymore. He could only comfort her in a gentle voice. "Don't worry, everything will be fine." Tatiana nodded and said nothing more. "Do you know what happened?" Adam couldn't help asking. "Yeah," Tatiana nodded seriously. While Adam and Tatiana were talking, Kate had already found the information vigorously and the call came back soon. Mary Hall, 40 years old. Her husband died 3 years ago. Half a year ago, she applied for adoption to a local orphanage in St. Petersburg. Last week, she officially passed the written document process and adopted 4-year-old Tatiana Marivkaya. Tatiana Marivkaya. Adam looked at Tatiana. Tatiana nodded happily, with a look of "It's me, it's her." Adam then continued to talk to Kate on the other end of the phone. "What's the phone number and address of this Mary Hall?" Kate reported it to Adam. After hanging up the phone, Adam directly dialed the other party's number. "Mary Hall, I'm Dr. Adam Duncan from the medical center. How do I know your phone number?" "You adopted Tatiana through formal procedures. If you want to check, you can naturally find out. Now please come to the hospital. Evading will not solve the problem." "Don't want to come? Then can you tell me what disease Tatiana has?" Mary Hall was silent on the other end of the phone. Dr. Duncan. At this time, Nurse Carol came over with a heavy face and a blood test report. Adam took it and looked at it, and sighed in his heart. "It's AIDS, right?" "You know." On the other end of the phone, Mary Hall collapsed and cried, "I don't want to either. My husband died 3 years ago. The process was slow and long. I survived and continued my life. Before last week, I had never really felt sad, and I never allowed myself to feel it. It was not until Tatiana had a fever and cough that I went to the hospital for a checkup and found out that she had AIDS, which was transmitted from mother to child. She had no symptoms before. Why is my life so miserable?" The doctor said that Tatiana could live for 1 to 5 years, or even 9 years and more. But I said to myself, I can't do it. I can't bear the long torture of losing a loved one again. Please don't contact me again. I really can't do it. Then she hung up the phone. "New mother?" Tatiana watched quietly until Adam looked over and said softly, "Don't worry, you will have a new mother." Adam touched her little face. "You will definitely like her very much, and I promise that she will always be with you. P.S. It's the 6th day since I caught a cold, coughed, wheezed and had a lot of sputum. I'm still not well and feel uncomfortable. The doctor told me to eat light food and stop taking cold medicine, and I will get better slowly, but I feel like I'm developing into Leonard's old asthma problem. There are only 2 updates today. Please forgive me." End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.